DARWD, ZS, they're all big on the day. There are no red names on my cybersecurity watch list. 2 o'clock, but we're not going to send over to the big boys quite yet because we got to send them to Adaro.
Yeah, we'll send her. Oh, there, go over to Adaro.
Sorry about that, guys. Earlier today, we know that we had a spike in oil, drop in the market as we had reports that the U.S. was preparing to resume its Operation Freedom. Now we're hearing reports that they are not going to be resuming Operation Freedom. In fact, saying that earlier reports are incorrect. So more back and forth here in the Middle East. USO dropping here and NASDAQ reviving itself a little bit. Back to you. And I guess back to the guys in the afternoon show.
We're back. What's that from again? I'm trying to... Is that Poltergeist? Is it they're back? They're here, they're back. Well, either way, we're back at the 2 o'clock. I don't know why I'm doing like some kind of doom and gloom. I swear it was Poltergeist. I don't know, will everyone matriculate in? No, it's they're here, right? And then the ghosts are they're here. What up, everybody? And the market's going absolutely, well, let's just say nuts. We had such a crazy update yesterday. We're having another volatile day today where everything was chilling out until the USO decided to go absolutely, I mean, ham is one way to put it. I don't know how else you would say it, but things took a decided right turn in the markets. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we can be cruising along and it can be, you could be trading like normal, and then all of a sudden, like one news headline hits, or something hits the wire, and then everything changes. You know, ultimately, you've got to be able to react to it. It's good for opportunities, no questions asked. But you know, it's something important we want to talk about here, because I can't tell you, everybody, just how many times. Like, I've watched traders with genuinely great setups blow their accounts anyway. And every single time it comes down to the same mistake. They knew what to buy, they knew when to buy it, but they had no idea how much to risk. So one bad trade wipes out like 3 good ones. They sized up to make it back, and then it gets worse. The setup was never the problem. The risk was the problem. And nobody ever taught them the rule that prevents it. Professional traders use a risk rule that is completely non-negotiable. Doesn't matter how perfect the setup looks. If the rule says no, they don't trade. Sean's going to show you that it's the one thing standing between a good trader and a blown account.
Great. Thank you so much, Neil. Yeah, let's break this down exactly as you just explained it. All right, you're hot fire. You're putting up some good trades. Discipline, discipline, discipline. $200 every single trade. You can see you're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling. But then this happens. That one revenge trade that Neil just explained. Maybe you used too many shares. Maybe you weren't focused. Who knows the reason? We're going to go over some of those. But this one revenge trade, all of a sudden, oh no, wipes out your whole week's worth of trading. Well, guess what? This is very, very simple. We can figure it out. It's not your strategy that's wrong. You know, you have 5 wins and 1 loss. That part's perfect. The problem is your position sizing. So let's go talk about that one rule. Doesn't matter what your account size is. All that matters is you have your 1% rule. The key right here, scalability. As you start to improve, you don't need to change this. Whether or not you have a retail account, over here $5,000, a small size, a professional maybe retail account, $25,000, or you're over here, you're trading on a prop floor, or you have a bigger account, $100,000. The math is pretty simple. What we do here is, it's 1%, it's $50. This allows you to begin your trading journey. It allows you to learn the strategies that you're looking for. Then your account grows. You get more confident. Maybe you deposit a little bit more, or maybe you've grown this. It's the same 1%. It's $250 worth of risk. This is the standard benchmark that a lot of us are looking at, 25,000. We don't change our strategies, we just change our risk. And all of a sudden, we get bigger, we get more confident. Our strategies are also improving as we go along this line. But we just keep the same amount of risk. Now, that's the thing about trading. You know, you always want to start to up your risk a little bit. But if you stick to the 1% rule, you can't go wrong. And this is sometimes what winds up happening. If you break the rule, then you can ruin your full week, month, year of trading. You get upset. Here's a trader right here. You know, FOMO, fear, impatience, overtrading, and doubt. Those are going to go through your head every single time. But that's fine. We can have those all as traders. What we're actually looking for is the mechanic side of things. What is the setup looking like? What's the confirmation looking like? If all of those things line up, then we go in the middle, we trust our process. And if we use the same process with the 1% rule, then what we do is we remove that left side. We remove the emotion from your trade. And all of a sudden, things start to clear up. And this is the thing right here. The edge also, something that I've realized in my trading, something that you will realize in yours as well. If you are position size appropriate, then all of a sudden, the mechanics, the setup starts to matter. And then you are trading, and didn't used to do this, you're now trading the chart, not your P&L. Because your position size accordingly, because you've made those steps, you can again then trust the process. And this is the best part right here. This 10-second execution. This is how long it should take you. Once you get to those steps, all you really need to do before you click buy or sell, identify your stop price. Calculate the dollar risk, which is your entry minus your stop. And here's the formula right here. Your account times the 1% divided by your entry minus your stop. That's it. It's very simple. Look at this right in the bowl at the bottom. One rule, every trade, no exceptions. If you follow this in your own accounts, you should be able to successfully scale up. It's one rule. It's the 1% rule. Apply it today.
The best thing is you can apply it to every single style of trading. You're risking 10 pennies on a dollar stock, 1%, calculate the risk. You're risking $1 on a Tesla trade, 1%, calculate the risk. And that way you can transfer strategy from one to the other. One rule, no exceptions. That's what it's all about, everybody. So I hope you are paying attention very, very closely, because that's an important lesson. Thank you, Sean, for that as well. And look, if we're talking about the one rule, I was mentioning here today, like when we were talking about IPOs a little bit.
I see what.
And I was sort of mentioning, you know what, if you're going to try to get better or prepare yourself for things, like you want to take fills, you want to be active. I admitted I wasn't a gigantic fan of the Hawk IPO today. I'm being real. I didn't love it. It's in the right sector. It wasn't a lot of volume, but I was determined, hey, you know what? I'm going to take fills on this. I am going to trade this because I want to make sure that we're sharpening the skills. And ultimately, like, it was a choppy. Anyone that watched this thing, you saw, Sharif probably mentioned that it was not that appealing. It was a bit of a choppy mess. Like, there was an open, it tried to break 34, it couldn't. It dipped back in, you caught some buyers off of the lows. It tried to get back up above 34, it failed. Then it quickly tried to support that 33 level, did not, got jumped out, took half out, then got the rest out when it broke that low. And I wanted to get a feel for the slippage on this, which is important. So a lot of times, it's like, yeah, I could have punched out manually before it broke, but I wanted to get a feel for the slippage in that particular case. Now I'm in a trade in it, which is very different from the opening rush. But this is one of the things we talk about too. Like, you don't want to become stagnant. You want to make sure that you're not just active, but trying to hone your skills and your strategies. I don't want SpaceX to come out and then I haven't traded any IPOs in a while. I was talking about that at noon. So it's right now it's the only thing I'm in, because it just happened to do a normal traditional VWAP trade after the fact and then sort of plowed into the high there. So I'm just holding this one. If it loses VWAP, I'll probably get out of it. Well, I mean, probably get out. I am getting out of it if it loses VWAP, not probably getting it out if it loses the volume weighted average price. You went to, you don't usually go to... I
went to Sev.
7.
Shout out to Winnipeg.
7.
Shout out to Winnipeg.
The 7.
The Sev.
I haven't.
It's cold out. Yeah.
I went for a walk. I cut my walk in half because I'm like, I can't do this.
I better get into the race.
It's cold, bro.
It's getting cold, and it looks like it's getting sick, wicked, and nasty out there. It's pretty.
What?
Sick, wicked, and nasty.
It's getting worse.
It's getting colder, but it's also looking a little dark.
You know what?
It could be raining, but we played last night.
Pushed back our.
Good.
We were supposed. I thought we were starting
tonight?
next week.
Oh.
For baseball, I thought we had a game on Monday, and it's been pushed back to the following Monday, which doesn't make any sense to me because that's the holiday Monday. Usually.
Oh yeah, we have. Oh yeah.
Do you guys play? Usually the holidays leagues don't play.
Not. Yeah,
So yeah. So it's like
Whatever the
it's a
wife
long
puts in the
weekend here in
calendar,
Canada.
basically what
So the first game of the year, I guarantee you I'm going to get a bunch of people saying they can't make the game because they're going away for a long weekend or they're going
Yeah,
to
most of them will know. Yeah, it depends if they did it last year.
it's the
Like if you get a
first
lot of new
game,
kids, maybe, but...
I don't know. Well, one of the cool things,
gotta
because I was looking at our roster, the guy I coached with last year.
Yeah, how many girls?
His son's playing, there's two, because his,
nice. Okay,
his daughter's
perfect.
on the team.
Yeah.
His son's playing rep this year. So I knew he was probably not going to come back, but he's in with the convener.
But
he's
he
like really
is.
good friends. No. So I guarantee you, he asked for his daughter to be on my team.
Oh, yeah.
Because
That's-
Aaron and her are friends.
Yeah, like I purposely drafted another female for Gia on the team as well.
It just makes it
working
easier.
out.
Actually,
Andre,
I didn't
test
double
my
check.
ear
I
if
think
you
it's the
can.
only two.
Yeah.
Anyways, the
There we
market's
go.
trying
We're
to
good to
bounce,
go.
but not
We're
really
good
doing
to go.
much.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment there. That was fun. We plan to do
That was good.
more of that. And I think that's, we do talk about the rules, and you got to have rules and just generally in life. And what the hell? I should have talk about a rule. I should be reloading Amazon right here. This is a trade that we made just off VWAP, and oh boy, did we cash in. Well, I have a very, very small piece left because I was going to try to reload this at the VWAP again. So we hit Amazon. This is the thing. Like sometimes you got to have, and here's another rule, have the ability to change your mind, right? If the market changes, change up your direction. And I was just, the NASDAQ was sort of Metro booming early and then fell back down in. And right here, we just went short back in Amazon, weaker than the market. Love Amazon. I mean, I want to buy some Amazon, but right in there, holding off VWAP, downside boom, right into 271.20s. So that was a great look there. That was about $2.50 to the downside. Now my next reload was 273.50, so it was right here. I'm going to stay there, try one more time, see if it does come back in there. Use probably one unit instead of two or so, and then we're gonna get on that. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. And if we take away, let me just show you one thing here. If we take away part fills and everything, so we'll get rid of all these executions here. I'm just going to show you why again that I like this trade. See, here's VWAP, hold, right? So this one, we kind of have a VWAP trade there. We had it right there again. So that next time, we just tried it again. So if we go over there, we put these back on. And I know I have way too many fills. I wish I could hide most of them. But right into there, you'll see where that short happened. So it's right there, right? So right exactly at the spot that we sort of pegged for that to go through. So that's that trade there on Amazon. We don't have anything else. We lost our way on Apple as well early. Still was fine. I almost use this as an example just for my own trading. Like don't let, one or two or three, good fills right in here, upside, get blown up by, bad proper missizing right there. Because, if we go long and it doesn't go up and you have 500 shares here, but 5,000 shares here, then you're definitely red today, even though you've only made really one wrong call. So that's part of it. And now we just get ready to go. I mean, we can go over some earnings that are going to be here today. I see you have IBIT up, so it looks like Bitcoin's at that $80,000 mark.
Well, it's
Broadcom's tanking?
simultaneously at 80,000 and at VWAP-ish. So like here's the chart's up. There you go. You guys are looking at my chart now. So it hit VWAP at about 10.15. It's now just put in a bit of a topping tail there. I guess technically it would be better if it was doing this move and was at 79.9. But it's adjacent to the 80,000 level, and you got a bit of a VWAP press. So I just want to look for the short continuation into VWAP. I was actually in. I was about to say hawk, but it's not hawk. Stop in here first. I was actually in battle, thinking that would go along with USO. If USO makes a nice break here, I want to take another shot at this. Just felt like this was breaking the flag. Like, look at the volume step in. It was probably right to get out. Probably shouldn't have held anything for the breaking. I don't know. That was silly. But now that you're getting a bit of a bounce here in USO, like if we bounce and head higher, I want to look for that possible re-break on BATL. Certainly that'll put shorts back in play. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking at IBIT here. So also let us know what you guys are watching. After the bell, we're going to stick around after the bell for...
Are we? Adair asked me and I said no, but I don't know. Are we?
Well, there's a few names.
I just want to get the names up here. I just want to cover a few things. So I just looked through the chat. You guys are welcome for that lesson. I do think we should post it on X. Ramin is running Instagram. So if you do have Instagram and things like that, all of the lessons that we do are up there. But I'll post this to X and maybe we can get that up as well. To New York set. I mean, there's so many nice things here. And I think now we're just trying to find a format that works for everybody. you know, and we can do this all tomorrow, every day if we can find stuff. There we go. So this is another one from 2 New York Times. We've seen you all there. He admits he breaks these rules sometimes. So do I. I think we all do it. So you got to be careful with that. So that's another very, very nice talk there as well. And then people talking about they follow price action and all this kind of stuff. You know, here's another one. We just put this out a couple weeks ago. I think it was our VWAP one.
Yep.
There you go. So Delmont Advantage there, talking about how it's one of your favorites. You watch the video and the VWAP bounce, and you really like that. And you could see all my trades pretty much are VWAP based anyway. So I mean, you know, the comments in the chat are great, and I just want to let you know that like Neil and myself and Brendan and the whole team, we're checking out those comments, and that's why we're bringing this stuff to you. You know, we're trying to get that.
It's also stuff
sort of that next level, because not only are we showing you trades, it's like we want to show you what creates those trades and what gives you that opportunity to hopefully level your game up. Because we would love to see in the chat like, boom, new record for myself, or we got something yesterday where someone had super chat. I think it was $50. It was a nice amount. It was just like, or maybe it was even this morning. They had like one of their best months or one of their best trades in the last little bit, and a lot of that had derived from stuff they heard on the show. So whether or not it be Joe, Sharif, Adara, Neil, myself, without a plan, and it's like, what's the Maple Leafs plan going to be over here? Are we going to trade?
Well, you don't have to have a plan. Well, you have the number one pick. It makes plan making a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, in hockey you don't screw up. You draft the guy at the top. The real question becomes, what do you do with the rest of the team? Can you? I would like to think you convince Matthews to just play with him. It just sounds like the.
Yeah, I think Matthews will do that. I think Austin, he has 2 more years in his contract, and he has to wait to see. But he's 30 years old. He's been here a decade. A decade's a long time.
Wow.
For professional athletes.
Now I'm old, because it doesn't feel like it's been 10
I know. So 10 years, 2 playoff round wins. Oh boy. Okay, so we'll move on that. If I start talking about the Maple Leafs, I'm gonna get emotional.
That's so bad.
So let's not do that. It's 2, and it's funny too, because we have 2 playoff wins, but we made the playoffs for 9 straight years, and we only have 2 rounds where we were.
It's a lot better when you don't say it out loud.
Too late. Okay, what else are we doing here?
You know what? I'm also a Bills fan, so we can.
Okay, Adara's not here. Yeah, so you're talking about a Broadcom?
The Broadcom super chat.
Yeah, let's find out if there's some information on this.
If we could, we throw it up there. Thank you, Andre. Broadcom here with a big spike down. So I'm plugged in.
I don't see anything.
Oh, never mind. It just keeps on booting me out. Anyways. So I'm just going to reconnect. I didn't hear anything because I wasn't plugged in, but I don't.
There's nothing on the wire for it.
I don't see anything on the wire. It's worth keeping in mind there is some just pure volatility going on, but you would imagine there would have been something.
Oh, people saying that there's so Delmont is in there, and we'll get it through to everybody. Maybe we can. Well, you have TweetDeck, don't you? Isn't there anything posting on that? But anyways, apparently OpenAI, it's financing deal with OpenAI hit some sort of a rough patch there. So, it could be another play here. I mean, if we're talking about financing, okay, well, the heck? I mean, Oracle, I didn't even realize Oracle was at $192. And not only did I not realize Oracle was at $192, it was also at $200 earlier today. So Oracle is on quite the come up here from those lows of 140 there. And again, runs a good company. Obviously, we've talked about their snag. Adair's brought that to us many different times about how all this is going to be funded and, raising stuff through the debt market and so on and so forth. But that 140, a company that's been around 50 years, Oracle, that's probably wrong, maybe 35 years, definitely reinventing themselves here in the data center. So we'll see what they wind up doing. But that snag, I don't think, if there is truth to that story, can't really be great news here for Oracle either. So we'll wait to see if that pullback continues to make moves to the downside. And then I think that major spike where we got that Amazon bid, there was something here about USO. So there was some sort of an actionable trade there at about 130 where we spiked all the way to the high side and then just came down. All of this retracement back makes me think that there is probably a resolve near, honestly, for oil. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these bump ups and then they kind of get sold off again. There's a bump up, there's a sell off, trending higher, there it is. There's different moves here that I don't know. I hope there's some sort of a resolution to this whole strait and Iran. But are they ever going to say that they're not going to have a nuclear weapon? if that's the only way out, then I'm not too sure.
It's hard to be super, super optimistic when you see days like today where it just felt like it was all systems go. But when the market's at highs, we get a little bit complacent. I have to point this out because we were just talking about VWAP. See, VWAP sometimes is nice and orderly. We come into VWAP, test it, hold it, test it, higher, low with the wick, hold it again, and then break out. And you got like 10 minutes down there. And then other times you get to VWAP and it runs away like it's, touching a hot stove or something. That just happened on Hawk. I was meaning to get back in after it bounced, but the bounce back up was like a 40-penny bounce almost instantly. But it's an IPO, so it's a bit different. So if I don't get into this, it's because it doesn't do something a little more calm and consolidated. But for now, it's really just IBIT. I'm seeing someone saying Apple's spiking. Gorev is saying Apple is spiking.
So I just heard the news. So you might not be plugged in. It's not
Still no?
It's not that dramatic. It was just Apple. They're working on. It's something about connecting to airports for the cameras in the airports and then giving information to Siri. So I'm going to have to, again, look for that story. But there was something there, and you can see the market doesn't care that much about it. I think it was just probably something to do with travel planning and Siri's. They're going to announce a new Siri here. So I think it was just that the Siri assistant will be able to track flights.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I heard in my ear. And again, like we can look it all
Apple
up.
enters full-scale testing phase for iPods.
Oh, AirPods.
With cameras.
Yeah.
Part of it.
So I think it's just trying to get that all figured out. And I don't know what that's about, but whenever you're hearing things like that, Apple is obviously service revenue. Not focused, but they they have high margins on that. So anything that could get people to either buy these AirPods with the cameras on them and then maybe subscribe to some sort of a an advanced Siri or some sort of a model that gives them that translation or whatever it is. I mean, once you spend the $300 on the AirPods or whatever it is, maybe it's not. Maybe they shouldn't charge a service fee, but you never know what they're working on. So there's that spike up in Apple. You see big volume and then right back down when everybody. This is the thing about algos, right? They hear the word Apple and something positive, and it just goes whoosh all the way to the upside. And they're like, what? AirPods, cameras, airports? Right back down again. So that's part of it right there. So just be careful. And by the way, your boy got Olivia Rodrigo tickets. So we were over 20,000 in line. But you know what I just kept on doing? Kept on, refreshing, get that slider going, started refreshing more and more and more and more tickets. So we're kind of like side stage, so it's not the greatest, but in the building for the family as well.
People see that number and give up. So if you don't, you have a better chance. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, it was no. When I logged in, there was no seats left. It was completely sold out. It was just just kept on refreshing it, and then eventually maybe. They're like
try.
Yeah, they're like you saw they're $350 or $330 a ticket. So I think maybe some people they get that far and then
they're like, I don't want.
Maybe they dash it. And these weren't even the greatest. Like this is just what it is. So and it's funny as I was talking with the wife and she said, well, it's in October. So now we got it. Now you have to wait 5 months.
Oh man, for some reason I didn't even hear you say when it was. I just assumed it was.
Yeah, and that's like kind of like the start of the tour there. So. Yeah. All right.
EVPs.
Yeah, he's already put a nice post up there.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Andrew, Ramin, and Fabian. Best lessons when Neil and Sean inject their view 2x. And appreciate the super chat.
I don't want to, Fabian is amazing, but Ramin is the one that sort of builds these and gives us the ideas for all of that. So we give a big shout out to Ramin as well. And people asking it, they're saying, what the hell? There's all this talk about these lessons and he missed it. That's the best thing about YouTube, man. Just see that little slide bar at the bottom? Just push it a little bit. This way, actually, now that I'm watching, and you can go back to 2 p.m. and it's almost immediately at 2:03 or something.
Watch it on your
is where we started it.
Just don't do it while you're driving, unless
Yeah, I'm really stoked.
Full automation, you can probably pull that off, but
I am so stoked for my daughter. Thank you, One Gold.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's right. Oh, and then my wife also, man, she never misses except for when she said yes. The when they did that phone test.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, all right, so now everybody at school is going to get doxxed because you're not allowed to bring your phones into your classroom in the school that we're in. I don't know if it's because we have different school boards. So when that alarm went off, I guarantee you that both my kids either had their phone in their pocket or in their bag. And I bet you right now that phone may be in the hands of the principal because that alarm's going to keep going until you clear it.
You got to clear it. That's the thing. Like, you can't just sit there and be like,
You know, it's like, I feel like that's, so
on me.
It's funny because Marissa just said, as soon as that happened, I wasn't even there. She goes, and now we see who brought their phones in their bags and pockets at school. And that just came out of nowhere. I was preparing the lesson there, and that came through. So just a funny little tidbit there. We did have you guys in the States probably have the same thing.
Yeah, it's a test of the, was it a test of the emergency?
It's a national emergency alert system, yeah. So if there's bad weather or like God forbid, like a kidnapping or something like that,
like Amber Alert.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Amber Alerts. Yeah, so it's the national warning system. I assume that there's something similar in the United States, but
yeah, I would imagine.
Anyways,
gotta have something similar.
All right.
All right. What was? Do we have a? I don't know if we have Steve today, but we'll find out if he's going to be coming through.
Is it the Tile Man today?
Someone might be in the calendar. It is Thursday. There's been many times today that I've forgotten what day it is because for whatever reason I think it's the middle of the week.
I mean, Thursday's kind of like, yeah, you kind of over that hump day.
I thought it was Wednesday a couple of times, and then totally forgot that we have Ninja Parkour.
If today is May the 7th, Steve Tileman is in the calendar.
It is May the 7th.
We will see then.
Hey, it's my dad's birthday in a week.
2:45. Oh, nice, the 14th.
Yeah, he's the 14th, which is it's always fun. It's always sometimes it lines up with Mother's Day, which is always the best. It's like, you know, you got both. We're gonna see him this weekend because it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So everybody out there, if you have forgotten, there's your reminder a couple of days in advance. You know what to do. If you make the day special.
Mother's Day, yeah,
like
you should be
no, I'm just
thinking about it.
People forget all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Pops Mafia has a birthday on the 14th. Hey, happy early birthday, Pops Mafia.
May the 14th be with you.
Exactly. SNDK's down what percent? 8%.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
1,300. That's still 30% from the recent earnings dip. What's going on with ARM? I got to double check ARM.
Oh, I didn't get filled at 200 yet.
Nope. It's ARM still has some room. Down
210.
10% today on ARM, right? So they've been taking the profit, but it hasn't made a fresh low. No 210 break. So if you've been waiting for a stink buy in ARM, checks watch. We're still waiting for that one to lose it altogether. Well, that's a good thing. You don't want it to drop too far, but would like to get the shares back in. It's all well and good. I say this all the time. You can see it seems smart if you trim. I took 10% off at 238, but it is completely meaningless if it's back above 238 before I get those shares back. Leg day for ARM.
It's a leg day.
But why is that? But leg day is a good thing. Build that strong base.
Yeah, but it's not focusing on the arms. So I mean, that's why it's down 10%. I don't know. Shout out to Darwin over there.
Every day's leg day.
Just trying to check out. Did you find out who's reporting it or not? Because we need some.
It was IREN. It was I looked. IREN stood out. CoreWeave?
What?
CoreWeave and IREN. There's a couple of others.
Please tell me they're 405.
CoreWeave at 405, IREN at 4, SoundHound at 405, OpenDoor at 405, Coinbase at 410, Rocket Lab at 405, Trade Desk at 4.
Okay.
AFRM as well is going to be one. So there's a lot of maybe not NASDAQ and ES moving names. You're not going to find a lot of these things that will affect the market, but there's some movers out there. Trade Desk, we get so many questions about where the bottom is on this stock. It's like at least once a week, someone's like, what do you think about Trade Desk? Trade Desk good for a long? Is this the bottom on Trade Desk? Somebody's consolidating down here. Somebody's accumulating shares at the 50-period moving average, but it's also doing nothing off of that, and I guess we get to find out. I'd rather be late and not have to worry about some kind of a long where you're holding it to the all-time low or the 52-week low, but you're getting something on a bit of a better upswing. Yeah, really nothing happening on it lately, unfortunately. Rocket Lab isn't doing well today. Well, I don't think a lot of things are doing well today. That was a pretty big right turn that we took in the market. And for anything that was already doing well, some stocks were going up and then did a right turn. If you lost the bid right away, it's hard to have anything but nastiness, right? Because you could be Apple or NVIDIA, where at least you were having a good day when things got ham. But if you were having a stock was having a bad day going into the turn that we looked at, there's no way it was going to end all that well for you. And one of the reasons why I'm trying to, I should have just gone to BM&R instead of IBIT. I'm now realizing that because I'm just sitting here as it's trying to roll over. Sitting, no break just yet. I think it's probably worth an ad.
Here comes
It's
80,000,
coming back
right?
down.
So
It gets to 80,000. The problem is it's at the 80,000 level, so it's got that little bit of a barrier. It's almost like I want it to break down lower and then add into LOD. And then Hawk is really slowed down. The problem with IPOs is they'll do an absolute ton of volume early, and then the volume just starts to taper off. Maybe there'll be volume tomorrow, and then that's it. This wasn't even that big of an IPO. We get a much bigger one next week. Next week, Thursday.
I don't like, that's a couple now fails in a row. I mean, you said there was one that you made when I wasn't here that didn't really work out.
No, the one. No,
Oh, that one did
It
work
was
out.
huge,
Oh, okay.
but that was the one
That was
that
the one that
opened
we
at like 11:05, and I wasn't at the desk. I thought I was really slick. I'm like, I'll just get up, I'll go to the bathroom, I'll come back, whatever, grab lunch, come back, and it was already done. I just missed the opportunity. This one wasn't so great, but I was determined to just take fails. That's why I'm a little bit more in and out of it instead of just like one in, hold, one out. And I even said that was the plan of action. I just wanted to get a feel for it, get back in the swing of things, see what the slippage is like, see if I can do like the false break and then try to get back in, because that might be part of the plan for SpaceX. Because I really do think SpaceX might try to run the bid early, stop people out that just try to take the opening print. And if it does that move, I want to get a feel for like, yeah, okay, well, does it look good to get back in? Where am I going to stop it out? Like that kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah, nothing wrong with that. So here's a possible trade set up right now. I mean, Boeing, at around 11 o'clock, there was obviously some sort of a story there with...
Ortberg's flying off to China with Trump, reportedly.
Okay, well, shout out to
that's
Kelly. I get not a ticket for Adara on that flight, I don't think, maybe. Over there, yeah, Kelly Ortberg. Over there, yeah, I know. What's up with that? What kind of a... Come on, Kelly. But anyways, yeah, just Boeing right now, looking like downside for me right now. It's too bad that we're like not up here again, like we were at about 230. It's 230 now. At about 200. The time is 230. The price I'm looking at here is 232. So yeah, it's like just back in here. This was about 10 minutes ago. We were at a nice level. So let's keep Boeing on the radar a little bit here. You know, underneath VWAP, turning down 50, 25. Turned down 200 right now, looking to break underneath 230 is Boeing. So yeah, if this is a story, just quickly, actually I got to fix, as I'm going to throw it to Neil in a minute, I got to fix this chart because I don't need to see all these gaps, but 230, there is a level, so that's 230 right here. So man, it's not, I guess that's 228. Yeah, it's not as great. Like I'd rather this have been gapped a little there lower so we can try to fill something, but all right, so we're watching out for 230 break or a 232-ish short that we can maybe bounce off of there for Boeing. And I will look at ARM, but we're going to go over to Neil.
We're going to talk about some updates that we're seeing out of Origenics, ticker OGN on the NYSE American. The company's activated its Phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Origenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, and resolving liabilities, also restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, which, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Remember, OGEN over on the NYSE American, shout out to them. The market's really trying to make a bit of a bounce here. Oh, this stock it goes and it won't break. All right, I just have to... Every single time, like it's going to break out the high. It's going to break out the high. It doesn't want to break out the high. I've already scalped. I want to reload this if I can get it off VWAP. I'm just going to sit there. The last time it was so quick off the volume weighted average price that I really just think I have to sit there and kind of get scooped up and then reload. If it breaks 34.5, I'll probably look to get out in front of 35, but it's kind of coiling like it wants to. Let's go back up to the desk with Adara.
Keep an eye here on PEW. Not a ton of volume on this, about 500,000 shares traded on the day, but it did get a bit of a spike here as CTV reports that the U.S. Postal Service is considering allowing the shipment of handguns through the mail. Back to you.
Pew, pew, pew.
Okay.
We actually used to have we had a graphic, a sniper graphic, way back in the day. Like it was really old. Yeah, there was one. It wasn't very often used.
Just heard like Supreme Leader Almani has full Madera will get it. It's something about nothing. Foreign minister spokesperson is speaking right now. So Adira will get some of that. I don't know. I'm hearing it in my ear, something. Iran's supreme. Yeah, okay, so she's on top of these comments, so we're going to get that in just a couple seconds. We'll get that going, but, we can check out on USO. I'm trying to look for a trade, and every time I look for something keeps coming up. So, all right, we'll just leave it. We'll leave the news with Adair. If something winds up spiking, then we'll address it more, and if there's anything important, we'll do that. Okay, so ARM. Yeah, I think this is a setup. Someone in the chat was wondering about how ARM's looking right now. Yeah, it's looking not great, I feel like, especially if you are long right now. I actually like the way this short is building out here. So it bounced off of, we haven't seen the 200 period since 11 o'clock right there. And then we tried to test it right now. The 200 period is something that I like to use for momentum change or shift change or anything like that. Trend change is, I guess, the word I'm looking for. So right into there, we just bounced, what a nice move, from 210 all the way back to 214 and then straight back to 212 again. So that's going to be something to look at. I'd like to use this area as my stop if we could. So 214. So we talked about how to properly maybe size up or down or whatever on the stops. And, the 1% rule, we're not going to discuss how much, money are in the accounts over here. But, this trade for me right now, I'm not going to use any kind of a 1% rule on this one. If this comes up, I have where the stop is right now. I can clearly see, the net of that we have today. And I'm not going to risk more than 25%. I kind of like to use when I'm looking at trades like this, try to figure out, percentage of the day net, because there's nothing really going on. This is something that we're looking for right now. ARM down 10%, so you're going to have to short it on the way back up. You can't hit the bid right now. You're going to have to wait for it to sort of have a bounce. So what about 213.50? Give it a buck up to 214.50. So I'm going to look for that. So if this comes up back up to 213.50, I'm going to put my order in right now. I'm going to assume that it's not SSR. 213. Let's go to 213.
I think it is.
SSR, sorry, I meant hard to borrow.
Oh.
It is going to be SSR, yeah. And then I'll just go, I'll put an order at 213.25. I'll put another one at 213.75. And then that way, our magical price will be 50s or so. And then if we do wind up getting stopped out near the top side of this trade, then we'll do that around this 214.65 area or so. So we'll look to see if we can risk about a buck into this trade to try to make hopefully a bit more than that, right? So no fill coming yet. Our first fill will go there. And then let's say it runs that level and just breaks it a little bit. It'll just get us back into this consolidation. And then if it wants to take that out, then we've definitely broken trend. We've definitely broken some area that I thought could be resistance. So we'll eat that trade there at some point. So yeah, looking for some ARM, and if that comes in, that will come in there. So thanks to TX Jet Fan for asking that in the chat, and I just went over that for you there. So if there's any other trades, Neil and I can do this with anything. So let us know what levels you're looking for.
Absolutely. Hey, U was working up. Unity and UiPath. It's hilarious because back to back, someone mentioned Path and then Unity as well. Looks like we're taken down. I said I'd wait for us to come down a little bit and show some signs of weakness. There was, I didn't hear anything, but there was just a bit of a spike on USO here. Like that, nothing crazy, but enough to make it look like we were, catching that bid and breaking back out a little bit. Another tick off VWAP here. So waited for a little bit of selling off the volume weighted average price to add into that IBIT. But yeah, let us know what symbols you're watching. Again, USO is trying to move, but it wasn't a huge one. Someone had mentioned Unity in the chat. Why do I not have it in my dropdown? That was weird. Okay, make me type the NY. That's fine. I have no problem doing that. Why Unity? Yuck Unity. Gives up the whole move. Ooh, that's going to be a nasty looking candle.
Unity.
No, that candle on the daily chart. Well, that doesn't look very good. It's the kind of candle that makes you think, oh, that's got to be some bad dark pool. That can't possibly have done this. 27 to 31 to 27 is one heck of a topping tail candle on the daily chart, rejecting a lot of big levels. Yikes! That's a bearish looking candle.
I feel like I want to go short.
But it's a daily chart, so it's not over yet. But it's looking like it's going to be a nasty one there for Unity. I don't necessarily see an obvious trade unless, you know what? Putting in a topping tail right here for a reverse on Unity. I'm kind of already in a short on Bitcoin, or IBIT, Bitcoin, same thing. But that does look pretty solid as a setup. Unity, I'm assuming we have free locates on.
Okay, good.
And this actually isn't bad. Topping tail, bit of a trend reverse as well. You get the futures coming around a bit. Yeah, we found something. The risk is to about 24.45 to 50, so you know exactly where your out's going to be. Then you have to factor one thing that you should mention when we're talking about the whole like risk thing. Like if your stop's at 46, let's just say, are you getting 47 on the way out, or are you getting 50 on the way out? That's part of your risk. Unity, you're probably getting slipped 1 or 2 cents. So if you say 45, you're not getting, the worst you're getting is 50, right? So if you get a 25 short, you're risking about 25 cents if your stop's at 45, 46. That's important because when I said I was taking fills on Hawk, getting a feel for what the slippage is on stocks where you aren't going to be as certain is part of the game. Because you can't manage risk on SpaceX. Let's imagine SpaceX opens at $100. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to say 100 because that's a nice round.
Yeah, who knows?
And let's just say you're like, I'm going to stop out if it gets underneath $100. Do I reasonably think I'm getting 99.80 or 99.50? That's a very big difference. And that is a factor into how many shares you want to have if it breaks that level. Just saying. Because I've been shocked. Thankfully, the last time we got a shock like that on an IPO was one that we weren't in love with and was already taking, not nearly max size. But it was still a bit of a shock to slippage. And I don't remember which one, but it was like 2 or 3 IPOs ago. I don't know if you remember. It was one with really annoying slippage.
I know what it was.
It felt like, you think you're going to get slipped 25 cents and it was slipped like maybe 60.
It was a drone one.
It was. You're right. It was the drone one.
Yeah, not like Endeavor, but it's some sort of a name like that. Shoot. Anyways, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so I forget what it was. No, Apex, Figma. No, not Figma. Definitely not Figma. It was just not too long ago. There was some sort of an air defense or something. One that came out. Swarmer would have been nice. It was not Swarmer. Yeah, okay. So we looked at Boeing, it could be a trade there as well. Tesla's falling pretty nicely. I mean, we talked about that. I'm still looking up there in case someone gets it. Upside, I can just look back. I know it was one of the biggest losses. No, it was like a month ago. Off of the IPO.
You sure it wasn't 2 months ago?
Could have been 2 months ago. I would just say it wasn't KTOS.
I think it was March. I feel like it was March.
March, April, yeah, March, must have been March. Okay, so anyways, Tesla, I want to play off this low, so I'm actually going to try it at 403.50s. So if it comes back in here, let's take a fill. We'll start with a small one first of all, if ARM comes back up, we'll take that as well. That's trying to make a move higher. The thing about ARM is it could always make that move higher, so let's wait with it and see what it does. My first fill, I just put it in right now, is going to be 404, sorry. Make sure I put the right price. Yeah, 404. And then I'm going to try 403.60 and just see if it holds. Now, normally, I wouldn't be trying to, hit the bottom and say like, okay, there we go. We got the bottom right back upside. But I just think that even if you sort of zoom back out a little bit here, these highs are fine to me. That's 402. So again, and just looking at how many shares we have, I think it's just worth a shot at that level. So I'm going to give it breaking 403. So if we do break 403, then we can wind up getting out of that one. We still do have $1.70 in the money on our trade here with Amazon. And so now I'm seeing this coming back in a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit more off right now on Amazon. So there it goes. We just break through 272. So that's a good trade. We don't have we have almost a smaller amount left on than what we obviously had before, as this one looks like it wants to continue to go a little bit higher or lower, Amazon. So we're going to wait for that low one more time, but there's a good, decent cover, and we just missed it. By just missed it, we were waiting for up here. So I don't know. We missed it by a lot, I guess, when you're looking at it that way. So we'll still wait and hold out hope that maybe Amazon continues to fall down. We do have a bid right there. I'm going to put one there at now. 271.50. We'll put another bid there, see if we can get that. Let's just go check on what ARM is doing, because what we're sitting there with an offer on ARM. Obviously not getting anything yet. Just in case you're joining me now, 213.25 is where we're going to sit right here, right around. Yeah, but you know what? Now that seems like it's almost, if we break it and get into here, maybe there's a problem. But I'm still going to look for that trade on ARM, see if we can grab that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. A couple decent ideas. There it is, man. Our first trade idea right now of the afternoon, basically. I shouldn't spin the money thing. I don't know if it's going to be money or not, but we are in a trade now. And it's Tesla, and it's right there. So now we're long on Tesla. We just got 10s. We can throw out a little bit at 50 if we want, even levels. But there it is, man. I told you where our stop and go area is on this name. We'll just see if we're lucky enough to get something like that right now with ARM. So, with Tesla. All right, huge move down. So we're now long, and let's go find out what's going on. Yeah, Dara has something maybe on this?
There could be more, and if there is more, I'll keep you guys posted. For now, though, I am hearing that there are explosion sounds, several explosion sounds being heard around Bandar Abbas in southern Iran, as being reported by Iranian news. So explosions in Iran. We did have some comments coming through from the spokesperson of Iran, but nothing like massive or worth mentioning here. Back to you.
Good, Dara.
And this might be the end of this trade, right? I mean, this is exactly what you're not trying to hear. Well, first, I'm not trying to hear explosions, but also not trying to hear this kind of stuff when you're stuck in a trade, right? So I'm going to give it down to 402.50 right now. And again, we don't, we're properly sized. It's not going to be the end of the world here or anything like that. But there's the trade. And sometimes you only get the fills when the fills are there. And this is part of the risk. Okay, I might just, I'm going to take a piece out here on a little bit of a bump higher there just because of what we were just talking about. Perfect. So I just want to say that, remember, most of my trades that are the best ones, obviously, start from a base. This one is literally catching a falling knife into the lows of the day here. So yeah, man, we're going to have to sort of grit our teeth and bear it for an expression here because I'm at what? Oh my God, I'm at 76, not 75 there. Okay, well, here we go. We're flat on Tesla. Look, if we want to get out of it, we can. Let's just wind up seeing what happens there. A little bit of a shock downside on a scare, obviously, of that bomb or explosions, I guess. I shouldn't say bomb, I don't know. But some explosions being heard there. Hopefully everyone's safe.
One could make assumptions, and that would be a fair one. That's
yep. And by the way, so we get that trade right now. So we'll put a little bit of money in our pocket and wait for a much bigger move. We still have 3/4 of this trade. But there, look what just happened right there, man. That was a good one. That's 274 down to 271.40 as we go VWAP hunting on Amazon right there. Not Goodwill Hunting, although it's a very, very good movie, Goodwill Hunting there. But we take that right back into those lows. Decent opportunity there. And now Tesla all of a sudden is 40 cents in the money, or it was as it gets back to 404. Let's wait and see if we can get back into this area. 404.50 for me here on Tesla or bust. So we'll put in one little quick offer at 404, the next one at 404.50, and we'll go from there. All right, we don't have to go hunting for our next guest because we heard that he's here, and we've told him many times, Steve. Okay, he remembers now at least. How's it going?
Okay.
At least, I think last time we told us that you're not a huge Yankee fan. You just like the hat.
I like the hat. I guess I like rage baiting a little bit, guys.
Okay.
Sorry to do it to you, but
okay, no problem.
You know what? Well played, Steve.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Usually I'll take a peek because I can see the PC that has Zoom on.
Like our green room.
Before the guest comes on, I have a straight line of sight from where I'm sitting on the desk, but no word of a lie. Like Brendan and a couple of guys are having a conversation, blocking it. So that was complete and utter shock that you were going to do that to us. So despite the fact that obviously you're wearing the enemy's cap there, welcome, but you're a friend of the show, Steve Talon from Trade the Pool. First off, enjoying the all-time highs?
I mean, who isn't, right? It's a blast. I guess maybe value investors who don't have enough semiconductors, but besides that, I'm having a good time. How about you guys?
Yeah.
Well, these are the markets that everyone. It's great because we get volatility to trade, and then on top of that, you get to look at your account. Well, I mean, your long-term, your personal accounts, usually doing just fine, unless for whatever reason you happen to be all short. But look, there's a lot of volatilities. We're into earnings season. I just want to start off with: is there anything that's really piquing your interest? That stands out for you as a trade, because I would love to simply ask you about the semis, but if you want to start somewhere else, let us know, because a lot of people are going to be asking about semis.
Well, I mean, where should we start? Just talking about earnings plays coming up, I'm going to be covering Rocket Lab tonight, and that one's looking really interesting with this tight flag that it's trying to hold key levels for me. So you see that little daily trigger at 77.81 is really playing tough, trying to hold the line in this tough tape today. I'd say it's pretty tough tape overall. I'm really looking for an area to hold here, maybe a small dip into the 72, but I think this name has potential to go much higher. And I think it'll be a good kind of barometer for how hungry the market is for new, risky, risk-on, high beta trades in this kind of tape. So that's probably the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, we can take this wherever you want to go.
Oh, Rocket Lab makes a ton of sense. Well, I think that that fits right in the whole, and we get this question a lot, the dip buy. Trade Desk is reporting tonight, and we get so many questions. It's like, where's the low on this stock? And one of the things that we usually say is, well, if you can find things that have a channel up structure, and you get a bit of a pullback, buying the dip can just be a little bit easier to stomach than trying to pick the absolute bottoms. And along that vein, there is one particular name which comes up more than others, and I was saying we're going to talk about the chips. There's no chance we're going to avoid the memory chips. So SanDisk. SanDisk just reported. We were sitting here when it hit $1,000 on the bid, right? It sounds like it's a buy. It went to 14, well, actually, check that. It went to 1,500. I almost messed that up. It went to 1,500, and now we are getting a pullback. Now, you can ignore the 50-period moving average on the daily. That's not going to be absolutely no help if we're looking for a bit of a dip. It's been parabolic. Is it so far that these types of things are hands-off on the way back in, or do you still like the uptrend in the memory chip names?
Well, I think that these names are going to run longer than just about anybody will expect. I was saying that, 100% ago too. I think they still have room. So what I'm looking for is essentially looking for historical analogs of parabolic movers and just how far they were stretched over their key moving averages, these 50 moving averages, these 200 moving averages. And that is going to help gauge when I think it's time to call the top, to say the music's stopping and take a stab short. An example of that would be like silver, for example. Silver did a very nice parabolic move and it got that clean blow off. And as you can see, it's just hanging out ever since. So that's the kind of real move that we're looking for this kind of capitulation, break of the parabolic trend. I'm just not seeing it yet on SanDisk. If you look back at, one historical analog that stood out was QCOM a very long time ago in the .com bubble, and it ran, what's SanDisk at, 4,000%? I think it was significantly higher than that and was significantly more stretched from its moving averages. So SanDisk here, don't get me wrong, it is still sitting about 60% over the 50, but for me, that doesn't justify shorting a parabolic move, and I'm still buying dips if they present themselves. So I think, Sean, you said you were in at 1,000. I was right there with you, brother. And then it reclaimed 1,100. I sold some, but then it reclaimed it again. I bought some more. So I'm sitting at one share left here, but it's feeling good.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, and that was part of it. Joe and I were going back and forth that one day, and it's like, you know what, with SanDisk earnings, excuse me, down there near that $1,000 mark, maybe it does have a room to run. And then 40% later, we wonder why we didn't put more money in, of course. Another mover tonight reports, all right, it's CoreWeave. And this name, Steve, it's easy to look back and be like, why didn't we get it in down here? It was just, lots of bids happening, lots of support coming through, right? Good volume profile down here as well with some of these candles. But, here's a day where you're down 7%, possibly traders may be a little nervous. We did hear some deal just recently, Broadcom having a problem maybe with some financing for the data centers. So down comes CoreWeave just a little bit right here. But you like CoreWeave, you like Nebius, you like any of these plays right now. People just maybe trying to make a little play here against some sort of an earnings call. It looks like the implied move's like 12, 13% here for CoreWeave. So any thoughts about some of these guys here?
Oh, I got some thoughts. I'm so glad you're bringing this up. So this is my most interesting sector in the market for me. Excuse the chicken scratch on this chart, but it's well worn because this is a big mover that I've been waiting for. And Sean, like you were saying, why didn't I buy down here? I even had a level drawn out. I didn't pull the trigger. But my system is about taking the easy trade, and this is kind of stuck in the mud down here. Now we have broken this trend line. We've gotten our little A, B, C correction going. I think this is a beautiful flag in a great space that's just starting to heat up. So I love CoreWeave. I think them and, specifically NBIS here is leading the pack. These are old crayons that are about to hit there. So I love seeing this, and I think that it's going to provide the juice for the rest of the sector, assuming that CoreWeave and also IREN report well tonight. So if that is the case, I'm going to stick with my picks here. I'm in APLD from about $30, $29.50. This one on the monthly, guys, I'm really excited about because this is like the most explosive type of long-term cup and handle that I'm licking my chops over here, hoping that this fuse can be set on these earnings tonight.
I wanted to, looking over at your charts, obviously there's tons of lines on there and tons of different indicators. And you had mentioned, looking for the easy trade, looking for, it was a little muddy down there on CoreWeave and everything like that. If for maybe newer traders, obviously, I saw you did have some volume profile on there and you had, different moving averages and whatnot. If we could just simplify, like if I told you, you know what, you're looking to make a swing trade like in that APLD or something like that, and there was one or two indicators or something that is like your number one sort of go-to, this is what I'm planting my flag on. Is there one? Is it a combination of both? What is there that you could say, you know what, this is making me push that buy button or sell button? What is it that gets Steve going on one of those charts?
Well, there's a couple ways I want to take this. I'll start with the fundamentals, what I think is most essential on my chart. And I use these on a daily chart, a monthly chart, a 1-minute chart, a 5-second chart. I'll use all the same indicators. So let me get to a clean chart here. Let me take my drawings off. So what we see are a few moving averages. I consider this one indicator because it's a package deal for me and I use them together. They're always, I'm always looking for gauging the strength based on its price's response to each moving average. What I mean by that is I have my short-term moving averages. This blue is a 9 EMA, and then I have the yellow 21 EMA. These are my short-term trend following ones. So usually for my system, I'm looking for an extended basing period. Then I'm looking to get involved after we see the change in character. So for example, this breakout here over the 50-day moving average gets me involved. Ideally, it pulls back to the 9 or the 21. This was such a strong trend, it held the 5, that little thin one. But in general, 9 EMA, 21 EMA, those are my top two. And then for a little bit of a longer term support, I always have my 50 SMA, that's the blue one here, and then the 200 SMA. So these are going to help me gauge the trend on a little bit of a longer term. For example, I might be in a little 1 to 3 week swing trade here off of this type move, this break of the 50. But as soon as we lose these short-term ones, I can't really, apologies for that, I can't really enter this again until it comes back and tests these longer-term ones. So the moving averages for me, that's number one. The second thing I'll say is you mentioned it, the volume profile. I need my volume profile and my volume, and I consider that one indicator as well, just because they're telling me volume on each candle, so on the time axis, as well as at each level on a price axis. And so this gives me a lot of confidence when I see a setup like this, where the point of control is this dotted line. That's where the majority of shares have been traded. So if we test this once, twice, 3 times, and now 4 times we push through it, that makes me feel pretty confident that we are done trading at this level and we are trying to mark up. So I think those are kind of my go-to indicators, and that's a little example on APLD here.
I mean, that's that's perfect. That's exactly the kind of stuff that we're looking for, because often it's traders just get caught in their either emotions or something, and they look for reasons to get in and like actually sticking with a plan. And we had a little bit of a lesson earlier about that to make sure that you don't blow up your accounts on trades where you don't really have that sort of conviction. So thanks for going over some of that. But yeah, as a market move here, you can see with the NASDAQ right now, we just put a little bit of a note up there, and Adair's been talking about different explosions happening back and forth right now. How do you trade? Like, there goes the NASDAQ down, a bunch of wick bottoms as people trying to figure it out, kind of just goes right back into support, now popping back once again, back up to the upside. But how do you deal with some of this noise? Like, we're always plugged in because, we're live here on the show, and, we hear something and we immediately go, oh my God, we got to go over to USO and we got to look to see what's going on with oil here. And, is there a major move? Like, what sort of the technicals looking like? What are the macro? What's happening over in Iran? What is the president saying? So on and so forth. I think we asked you this before, but it's kind of hard to ignore it, but I think it's almost the right thing to do is to ignore it and make sure that the setup is there technically, and then go to the macro side of it and say, hey, does the short make sense right now based on sort of the news? Have you been scalping in and out on anything that you're hearing, when it crosses the wires at all?
Yeah, so it's really tough right now. And if anybody's a newer trader, this is not the easiest environment to trade in.
Right.
We call them tape bombs, where you just get a massive candle in one direction or the other based on a tweet usually, or a headline from maybe halfway around the world. And what we see is, like you said, a lot of noise. And so what I have to do is I have to stick to my system, stick to my indicators, and keep on trusting the process. And I will add just a little caveat though. So technical analysis is great because it looks backwards and then it projects forwards based on the data set that we have available. The only thing that messes that up is new data in real time, right? So while I am always willing to say, hey, macro events can break TA, what I've noticed on the whole way up of this most hated rally ever is that when we seem to be at a breaking point, when we seem to be ready to drop a big level and really flush, we are seeing absolute flurries of bullish or dovish tweets. So I will just say, be careful about these breakdowns and be more willing to look for a fake breakdown, a failed auction below on news. And I do play those, but I don't panic sell because of news. I just try to hedge when things are a little bit too crazy so I can monetize those and not get rid of the things that I think are going to end up higher.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because this is something you've seen. If you've been around in the markets, you've seen it a lot. The timing of a particular headline from a company, right when it's at a key inflection point. The timing of when a short selling report gets dropped. If you don't think that they don't understand the technicals in that moment, you're crazy. And I'm just gonna throw it out there. Heck, the timing of the announcement of like Intel, at a historical low, right? Like these little things, they're absolutely true, but it's such a great point. You have to sort of stick to your plan. We just hit the power hour, and we're going to get into that. I have to ask you this question, and I only thought of it because you brought up APLD. Okay, that monthly chart looks absolutely fantastic. Like that is one heck of a breakout off of some monster levels on APLD. I'm going to submit to you another chart, and I'm just going to leave it here. Two people on this desk might happen to like this one, and I want to hear your thoughts because the monthly chart on ARM, I don't know, does that not look a little bit similar? While everyone's humming and hawing about how far it is down today, thoughts on this, just from a technical perspective?
Absolutely. So this, this is perfect. So I just get to toot my own horn here. ARM is probably my best trade of the year so far, up there at least. We got in at 160 with a little bit of leverage, and it really worked out for us. And the gist was, this is a long-term base. And sorry, this is a little silly, but we have an inside joke. Sometimes you just got to wait for the stock to tell you what it's doing. Sometimes it needs to spell it out for you. So me and my friends were joking, saying, is it going to spell ARM? And then it completed this W and just took off through our point of control. I think you're right. I think this one has legs. I think people are a little nervous about the earnings report reaction. But this is an absolute powerhouse of a chart. And what I will say here is that these fibs, that there's my third indicator, if I have to add one. These fibs are helping me a lot with this because we have the range here, this big range, and now it's coming up and just butting its head against this 1.72 fib. And I have this one in yellow because this is often where a range breakout can stall. If it's going to stall, it sweeps stops up to this and then tends to fade. So I'm just sitting here watching price action under this very key pivot. And when we go into the daily here, it's a little sloppy, but in general, we're holding over all major moving averages. We know they're a great company. We know that there's so many reasons to be long ARM. And also, if you just look back and compare, we can add SMH to this. And you can see this still has catching up to do. SMH is screaming out of its base. It's doubled since its base, basically. We're still hanging out. So I love the trade, and I think it's still got room. I'm still holding shares.
Love to hear it. And sometimes I'll ask you the question and we'll put you on the spot. Other times I have a decent idea of what you're going to say, but it's something we've been talking about. They just reported, so of course it's pertinent. Getting a lot of positive love in the chat here, Stephen. Remember, everybody, Steve, friend of the show at Trade the Pull. We always try to have him on when we can. But let everyone know where they can find you next, Steve, because we want to make sure the viewers can reach you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So you can find me on Twitter at Steve Teilman, STEVE. 2 N's there. And in my Twitter bio, you can find my completely free Discord. We got a lot of amazing traders in there. Every time I go on here, you guys rush the gates and Discord tells me, hey, too many people. So if you don't get in, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I promise we'll get you in. So that's where you can find me personally. In terms of Trade the Pool, I'm on every day now, and we're doing these great earnings streams. They're so much fun, and I'd love to see some of you guys in there after hours. So I'm going to be starting 30 minutes before the end of the market so we can prep it, go over these presentations on all of these earnings reports. Today it's going to be Coinbase is a big watch for me, and as well as Rocket Lab, like we talked about, and CRWV, of course. So if any of those interest you, or you just want to come on in and hang out after the market and decompress, that's your spot. You can find us at Trade the Pool on our YouTube channel.
We love him so much, we let him come on when he's wearing a Yankee hat. That should tell you all you need to know, everybody, because around here we're Blue Jays fans. It has to be said. I'm gonna leave it on that, Steve.
Hey, there's the 3-strike rule. You know, she's got one more strike.
Yeah.
You know, one more.
We'll get you. Look, and by the way, if you're ever up here and we take you to a Blue Jays game and they happen to be playing the Yankees, you're not wearing that hat. I'm just letting you know.
Neil will buy it out of his own pocket. He'll buy you a Blue Jays hat.
Oh, 100%. I will get you a Blue Jays cap and you can wear it. Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck in your trading, and
thank you, Steve.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and if
the Yankees, look, the Yankees are playing really well. I can cop to that. I was going to say that while Steve was still here, because I don't want to have
we
to.
just got swept yesterday by Tampa Bay. So.
Tampa's playing.
Yeah, they're playing well, of course.
They're playing pretty well, but like the Jays are playing like. They're playing like ass. I was going to come up with a nicer thing to say, but you know what? Sometimes the thing that you're thinking is the right one. Can't score and to save their life. Just quickly before, I want to thank the trader who was mentioning like that trend break on Unity. It broke trend. It got to basically the support level where the trend started, and then started to base out a little bit. So I'm out of that. I'm IBIT. We also grabbed, got some out. Then it actually came into VWAP. Did a wick shimmy at the volume weighted average price, didn't break out prior resistance there, so added back in, still sitting in this one to hold on to the short. It's past 3 o'clock, so we're into the power hour now. Oh, I gotta shout this out. I don't think I've ever seen Rapunzel shouting out Cito Gaston, the greatest manager in Blue Jays history. 2 World Series championships. And he was a heck of a ball player in his own day. He actually started an all-star game for the National League. He was on San Diego, and next to Willie Mays. I think he was in left, and like Willie Mays was in center, and then Hank Aaron. Cito Gaston. He was also a heck of a ball player, and all class, man. Everybody, like, there's very few like managers or coaches that are just zero controversy. Everybody is a fan of them, and no one ever has a bad word to say. Cito was one of those for the Jays. Probably the only manager that pretty much nobody criticized.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a player's manager, right? So he just kind of did whatever everybody wanted him to do. So shout out there. Sometimes that's all you need to do, right there. Yeah, talk about being in. Well, I mean, those teams were stacked. Paul Molitor, like Dave Winfield, like everybody was there. Roberto Alomar, a whole bunch of great players there. And of course, who wins the MVP? Pat Borders. So, okay, so just quickly, talk about caught in a little bit of a malaise here. We went up and down with Tesla before eventually getting stopped out there at a 402.50 break. Now I'm just trying to get back. Well, I am back into the short right now. I'm just going to try to play it off the 50-period moving average here, which is 405. So if we break back above that, which it looks like it's trying to do right now, we just heard more rumors of not rumors, but I guess reports of explosions and all this kind of stuff. So just trying to give it a little bit of a time. As Steve, put there as well, getting in and out based on like all of this sort of back and forth. News headlines and whatnot is just so dangerous because all of a sudden, you make your real trades based on technicals, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you get that FOMO like, oh, there's something going on, and you got to get in. So you don't. But I'm going to hold this. I feel fine with this kind of a trade right into there against that level. It looks like Tesla trying to play the momentum to the downside. Would like it to dip back into the 404, into this 25 period, because I have some outs there. And if we can do some outs right there, I'd like to get out of about 40. Okay, there it is. I'm going to say hopefully be out of about 40% once it comes back in there. That was a 35 fill we just took there. And I do have another fill at 10s. Might be a little low, but just 10 more cents and we get this. And then we can come back in and get that fill. And it would be small, right? It's only 30 cents right now, but our stop is not very high. We're risking 50 cents. So if we can get out of like 20% of this right now, I think that would be worth it. And then we'll hold out for that dip down, and maybe we get it, maybe we don't. But we just need one little spike down here in Tesla. Oh, shoot. To get that out. I'll put a little bit here, maybe at 20s. We keep on bouncing off these levels. I'm at 20 now, and I'm at 10. Let's see if we can go. There it is. Okay, well, I think we just got to 20 there. So now we'll wait to see if we get to 10, and then hopefully I'll fall down, and I don't have any more bids after that. So, you know, looking to get a breakthrough into this level 403.60s. So I'm going to put a bid right there as we see it. Hopefully coming back in right now is Tesla. So that's going to be a trade for me. I wanted to talk about that real quick. And then we have another one right here. Sound the alarms, because we did get out some more. Maybe I shouldn't do that as we talk about some bombings or explosions, but there it comes right back in again. We took a few more fills as we were there with Steve on Amazon because it did fall back in. So that gave me some kind of confidence here about what we're doing with Tesla, because we do have a little bit of a downside push there. So that's what we're doing right now. ARM didn't come in. I canceled that whole idea now, because now we're just simply too far for me to trust that level. I'm not going to go short here at 213 and go all the way up to 215 with it. So downside push. I think right now any kind of a bump up looks like it's being sold off on ARM, so you might have just got one right there. Pretty fun how he said that it went ARM and almost completed that. That would have been cool.
That was kind of cool.
But yeah, there it is right now. It looks like we might have found a bottom around that 210 area for ARM holdings. And just as we said, like Tesla, like you got to get those fills, man. So we actually took 2 fills down there, as you heard me say. So it looks like we may get stopped out of this for that 50 cents. And if we don't like it, we can get out right now for 10 cents. But yeah, right now we're going to hold out for Tesla, as it looks like it wants to get back up to the upside. I was just, for some reason, got excited about that short just a little bit, looking like it was trying to go short. We did try to pick the bottom there, and we basically did, but we got stopped out at the very bottom. So that's part of sizing and everything. So all right, so that's what we're doing right now.
I just want to remind everybody, because we got all those good comments about the lesson here, that posted the lessons. You can find it if you're in the chat. First of all, if you're not in the chat, just get in the chat. Hit the subscribe button. Subs only chat. Great community. Joe's in there talking to Hangry Wife. Hopefully they're having a good conversation. I haven't read it. But Selena better take care. Okay, maybe I shouldn't read it. No, but it'll be posted here, so you can always just click the link and then be able to see all of our lessons, including any new ones that come up, everybody. And we were talking about sticking to technicals. We talked about the VWAP one. So with all of this crazy back and forth, and maybe it's not that crazy, like if IBIT breaks contain over the volume weighted average price, I'm out and looking for something else. But for now, it's holding VWAP, so hopefully that technical can just be the basis of the trade while we wait around for potentially like the next thing to react to. The fact that USO went green today is probably a bit of a shock for a lot of people, but it's now not really doing much of anything. So it's back into like normal afternoon trading per se. Let's go back up to Adair at the desk. She's got something.
There's comments, of course, from President Trump in the Truth Social post saying that if we don't get a deal by July 4th, they're going to be much higher tariffs. But I want to talk about SJM. This came out well. We had Steve Talman on, but there is a report that they're talking to JP Morgan. I guess looks like they might be considering potential acquisitions. So again, strategic changes here on watch, such as asset sales or acquisition on watch here for SJM, according to Axios, as they reportedly meet with JP Morgan. Back to you.
Want to get involved. There's some good possible deal news going on right there. We just had Steve on, but we want to make sure that you recognize that volatility does create movement. And for sophisticated traders such as Steve, movement creates, of course, opportunity. Beta Pro by Global X offers Canada's first and longest running suite of levered and inverse levered ETFs built for sophisticated traders using the bull and 3 times bear ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 indexes. They are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving trader tools to engage in both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset U.S. dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for you, your individual strategy, objectives, and of course, risk profile. Trade tactically, learn more at betapro.ca. Yeah, so this ran 405 as we were doing that, so we had to get stopped out there. So we do have to slap a fail on Tesla experiment down here. Went long and went short, and the short, at the end of the day, winds up getting us as it does make a move straight back to the upside. So there goes Tesla right there, upside. So we can have a quick look at the market maybe, but I don't know. I know it's power hour, but it doesn't necessarily mean that anything's actually going on there right now. We did talk about Boeing potentially getting into some levels. It looks like it does want to hold that 230 area, so a decent spot there maybe for Boeing. And if ARM winds up coming in, we can still trade that as well. Another good day.
We got Rich. Rich, another good day. Thanks again. Thank you for the super chat, Rich.
Like those good days.
Appreciate you. And make sure you, when you have a good day, bank it. And if you celebrate that good day,
exactly,
make sure you get home safely. And I'm only saying it in this manner because that silver stock is moving today.
Right.
So that's my segue to bring up silver. If I remember, because I'm pretty sure this is the company that does the
breathalyzer.
The breathalyzers, right? So that's the reason I did that weird segue. But what kills me about this, and I'm thinking about how to not miss something like this again, because it's not just setting an alert. You have to see a stock break $1, and then now it's on your radar, right? So silver broke $1. I guess that'd be, that would have been like yesterday, right about after the open. Pulls back, holds 107, or 2 days ago. Sorry, then yesterday on light volume, so that's the day one, whatever the news must have been. Then on the light volume pullback, holds exactly $1. So holds the dollar level, gaps higher, just sort of like a classic breakout there. Once you hold the buck, take the break. This has got, it's got a little bit of room to go. There's some bag holders from 2 to 250. They're worth keeping an eye on. And the next time you see, the dollar level, some of it's psychological, but then there's the whole, remember, these companies are all trying to hold above the dollar level once they've crept underneath it because they want to maintain compliance. So there tends to be some buy support in there when it happens, and then you get people taking advantage of that in front, and then sort of a cascading effect and like a self-fulfilling prophecy can end up happening. But wanted to point that one out because it's not the first time we've seen that with the dollar level. Beyond Meat did that. Obviously, it ended up back underneath the dollar eventually, but still pretty good for a while on Beyond Meat when it was able to do it. For now, there's still nothing crazy happening. I've gotten a couple of legs out in front of 43.3. So I'm going for the reloads when it wicks to 45.5 and then trying to get back in underneath VWAP, which is about 45 here on IBIT. But part of the issue
I just took IBIT short too.
It's holding VWAP, but it's like we're holding under VWAP, we're holding over 80,000. It's almost like you have these weird two things going back and forth. It's a VWAP trade, which is exactly what I think at this time of day, if nothing's happening, then shorting VWAP on a downtrend makes sense. But we need to break 80,000. Because I think if it takes 80,000, it's like, okay, chance to flush into the lows would make a lot of sense here. But we are slightly above it on Bitcoin is what I'm going to say. Let's just have a look at some of the other names that are running. I know there's, after the bell, there's the IREN Army. That will be excited. I believe 405 for IREN. Something's at 4 o'clock, but struggling to remember. It's not Open Door. It's not IREN. CoreWeave is also after 4, but I don't think it's right at 4 o'clock. But those are all right away. IREN with a pullback, but this has been a good running stock. Higher lows. It's doing not a crazy move coming into the earnings. Like it's not doing 10% 4 days in a row and closing at the highs. The fact that you're getting the pullback day gives it some constructive levels to try to hold on to. The data center and power names and all of that ecosystem has been fantastic. It's the right space to be in. So lots going to be riding at stake for them. Okay, we just had a little bit of volume come in. Downside, not that much, but just a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to. I mean, the only thing is funny because I wasn't even. Didn't realize you're into IBIT, but yeah, I like that trade too. That was going. I just went through. Okay, here we go. I just went through a huge scanner trying to find some opportunities.
And
we still have our Amazon. Yeah, it was the only one that hit, and I was just like, I'm taking it. And then you mentioned you had it there, so that looks like it'll be a good trade. We'll get out some for the first time down here, hopefully at 35, and then we just missed it.
It did filter.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't on there. So nice fill on 35, just went down to 34. That could be a trade for sure. So we're already in that one. So it's a good pickup there as well. Netflix 88.20. I mean, we might get a break of the day here on NFLX. So potential break lower on Netflix 88.20 right there. Could come in. Who knows? We'll see if it does hit 88.15. It looks like there would be the day's low for Netflix and just had to move up to VWAP and back in. So yeah, as Neil said, looking for something that's going to hit into the after hours as the market comes into the close here. All right, so Palantir, you know, had a good morning, and I don't know, probably. Again, not super positive on it. I was going to say probably should have got out, but not really. I mean, let's just wait to see what winds up happening. There we go. We get their 35 as it's continuously going lower now. We'll see about Palantir. Potentially get a bump here in the name. Setting up great, but, you know, would like to see this back to the 200. I just don't want to short near the lows. We already made that sort of move right there with IBIT. We'll see if that continues to work out, which it's doing. Tesla, we lost our way a little bit there. We didn't wind up, like, we followed rules. Like, we didn't wind up getting crushed, but we did lose. So we should have probably waited again. We tried the 50 period there. It didn't work. So when you look back, you say maybe you should have waited there, but you're still very far away. At least I see some meta maybe happening right now. So there's meta 615 breaking back down below. Ooh, I wish I would have saw this maybe. So this is what I tried to basically do on Tesla. But right here or ARM, you know, you have that 200 period moving average there. It's bounced off of it a little bit. You hadn't seen it since the morning time. So that would be something, again, if we could have had that just a couple minutes ago at 616.70, maybe we get it again if it bumps up about $1. So that would be something that we're going to look for right there. 616.75, maybe we could wind up getting there as well. But I only have one fill on IBIT. I'm going to put another bid there at 32. Just take another bid out. And then if we can, you know, bounce, because we just bounced off the 200. So that's something that we like to use there. So that would be an out, and then back here at 20 would be another one.
That's also exactly 80,000. We just bounced exactly, almost exactly off 80,000. We're at 80,018 bucks. $18 here. So like that's why it makes sense. Like if you're not taking something out in these 30s on IBIT, that's the 80,000 bounce for sure. And hey, Big Rudy Smasher, we appreciate you. Whoops.
Always.
It worked. There it goes. Thank you for the super chat. Big Rudy Smasher made $4 today. Here's your cut, guys. Thanks. You know what? Whether that's
half,
true or not,
we'll take half.
or whether it's true or not, or whether it's a joke, doesn't really matter. We appreciate you. And the only thing that matters, and this is one of the reasons why I think the lesson was so important today. You can apply risk parameters and trading styles for all different types of trading accounts, for all different, whether you're starting out, whether you've been trading for a long time. It's the system and it's the manner in which you manage risk. All of that matters. So we appreciate you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Like, that's what it's all about there, for sure. I looked up at the chat and saw two things I didn't want to. SMR and sub 10 in question 4.
It's not though, it's 12.
No, it was, I wonder if SMR will go sub 10 after earnings.
Find out soon.
The bad thing is that is a real possibility if you're in SMR. Very real possibility. It's already been beneath 10. It was underneath 10 like a week and a half ago. Okay, not a week and a half. Like less than a month ago. There. Now I'm actually being realistic. It was less than a month ago. It was underneath $10. So that's not some magical number. It was holding for a long time, but it's already broken. The good thing is fundamentals in some ways don't matter as much here. They're not making it's not like they have a bunch of money. It's not like revenues are real. Like it's so early in the game that it gets a little bit of credit for not having to blow out incredibly optimistic numbers. So that's the good side of it. But remember, this is a company that is in the very early stages that could be worth zero. I don't think so. I still own some. Thankfully got most of it out at the highs, but still holding on to about a third of it and looking for a place to add. And I have not found a place to add to it yet because it just hasn't looked good enough. And maybe after these earnings, it'll provide us with that opportunity. But if you don't think it can be underneath $10, you haven't been paying attention to this stock. It really could. You know, this could be a hat size in a month from now, right?
Yeah, I mean, earnings aren't even, like, we know that there's going to be no earnings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't have earnings.
Right, let's hear what they talk about.
Can they sound good?
On those earnings, that's for sure.
Will.
So we'll see. Yeah, I think they'll be okay. These guys know what to say to get the stock moving. So we'll wait, see if there's any new deals that have signed up with them or what that demand looks like on that side of things. But here we go, man. Adair puts us out every day. Go to Trader TV Research immediately to find this exact infographic, and I'm sure she's going to be working on the implied moves as well.
Boom.
It's already out?
Yeah, just go lower on that thread.
Okay, so...
The thread then.
Oh, the actual thread? Yeah. I can't because once I click on it, it does this. That's okay. Anyways, I'll find it in a minute. Is this it right here? No, that's bank. How the banks fared. Everything. Oh my God. This is why you guys need to go over here. I mean, these are all today. Like this is 2 hours ago.
Get that work.
2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. And here's what we go with. This is tomorrow. One more up. You mean? Anyways, it's right here. No, this is. Oh my God! I should just stayed where I was. Here
This
it
is
is.
like the Russell Brand gag.
What was that?
He's
looking
on,
for something.
So he's on Pierce, and then he does this thing. I think it was a gag. He's pretending like he's like, oh, there's this important Bible quote that whatever sustains me, and I think is, and he's sitting there, and if I could just find it, and then I know where, and he keeps on going, and it's 100%. He was
right.
Of course, it was a gag.
Yeah. Russell Brand is no longer a name that I support for various reasons.
I'm not gonna get into
the things that guy has said is mind blowing. No, I don't. Okay, so here we go, man. These are the implied moves. So shout out to Adara. I'm actually gonna put this in right now in the chat so everybody can realize the power of this post. So you guys can go have a look at it. And we're gonna be here after hours and going over most of these things. Where we won't be staying till 4:30 for a firm, but we have DraftKings, we have Cloudflare, NuScale. So these are the names that most of you are talking about right now, NuScale. And then we have Coinbase. So NuScale is SMR. That's funny because everyone, we always are calling it SMR. We never ever call it NuScale. So there's Coinbase there as well. They're coming out at 410. We'll see what they have to say. I think that could be a downside move there on Coinbase. I mean, we saw some of the fintech names like PayPal and whatnot sort of go by the way of the dodo bird, and we'll see what winds up happening there with Coinbase. There's Block. I mean, talking about PayPal and some of the fintech names. We had Upstart. Wasn't Upstart today? Or this morning or last night or something, yeah. So Upstart down today off their report as well, now down 1%. That was yesterday. Big gap down from 32 down to 28 on Upstart. MP Materials, we know they just talked about what luck they had investing in NVIDIA. We'll see what's going on with MP Materials. Right, SoundHound recently had been on a breakout that many of you guys had sort of indicated to us as well. We can check out the SoundHound chart there, now up to 936 there. EWJ, man, you shouldn't stop talking about Open Door and talk more about HUD 8 because that was a great call. Now you're up 11% for Open Door right there. Here's CoreWeave, didn't even realize this was the symbol. That actually looks pretty cool. So CoreWeave 11.5%. Again, Steve sort of indicated some of the names that he liked, and CoreWeave was on his book there as well. Rocket Lab, I mean, wow. Okay, and then, Expedia. Pour the trade desk. We'll have to wait. Mercado Libre there, the Amazon of South America, so to speak. They're coming out with 6%, and then of course more power names there. IREN, yeah. We don't trade some of those names.
Oh, speaking of splits, Carvana is doing a split
again.
Yeah, it's a 5.
They're already down to $100 or something, weren't they? Or 190?
Oh, they're back up to 3 something. CVN. I'm saying it out loud so I don't mistype it.
Maybe they didn't split
almost
yet.
400.
Okay, so they didn't.
Yeah, they're doing.
They announced a split. Okay,
they announced a split. Not yet.
That's not new news.
It was this morning.
What?
They announced it this morning.
I thought Carvana announced a split a hell of a long time ago.
And it's weird because it wasn't even on their investor relations page, which really upset me. They didn't even put it on investor relations. I had to find it on Google. I don't like that. Don't do that, Carvana. Put everything on one page.
Carvana, stop upsetting Adara. That is not okay.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Put it on your page.
I thought they announced.
Just take it from Ryan Cohen.
I thought
it's on the
announced that
website.
already.
Yes.
It's on the website. Everything's on the website.
That is the only acceptable use of on the website now. If you have a company announcement, why is it not on the website? Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Ryan Cohen, but only for that.
I don't know. It's probably not that great a meme, but it was just a weird interview. And I found out why
Ryan
he was.
Cohen?
I found out. I read it. I actually was able to read today why he had his account suspended from eBay. So apparently he was using eBay posts to promote the takeover.
But how are you going to use an eBay post to do that? eBay, like he was selling things and then putting.
I can't think of any other way.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about
like, because think about it, like what? So basically, like he's sitting there like selling some things in his account, or maybe like trying to like buy some, and then posting all kinds.
Doesn't Ryan Cohen have a lot of money or anything at this point? Like, what is he doing? Sort of going back and forth. I guess
he's good.
People want to get. People always want more money. I guess that's part of the.
He stands to make, and I'm just only saying this because it's factual.
Right.
He stands to make the bulk of his bonus, or the full amount of that. I think it's $350 million. Derek can fact check me. I thought it was about $350 million, something like that, but it's crazy. His big bonus for Ryan Cohen, but the maximum amount is if the market cap of GME gets to, I think it's something along the lines of like, it's significantly higher than now, at least 10x. However, if you were to combine GameStop and eBay, he'd have to bring the combined to just barely 2x, and then he would get the full bonus. I'm not saying that to say that that's his only motivation. Well, I don't know him, whatever, but I mean, it's not nothing out there. Anyways, just now, okay, so we're doing this battle between 80,000, like back and forth and back and forth. So it just ticked like it was breaking and then came back above, so it took a little bit more out. There's nothing really else happening. So you guys let us know what you're watching here. Obviously, the man wants to get paid too. But I have some serious doubts about that deal and whether it would actually get done. You know, it's the simple math of it and how much dilution would have to take place. That being said, if there's a legitimate turnaround plan and some synergies that he believes in, they've said that they are going to consider the offer. eBay has already come out and said that. So you got to take that at face value. GameStop's back at the 50-period moving average. I didn't even realize it was all the way down here. And this has been a stock which would have been consolidating. I don't wonder, would it be doing better without this, is my first thought. Because it was on a bit of a run on its own. And all of a sudden, all of that got turned around after the earnings and this eBay announcement. Bit of a bounce the last couple of days when everything was bouncing, but right back in to some support here for GameStop. Like, I don't wonder if it was pulling back because of this. If eBay rejects it, is that not a buy signal on GameStop? Like it was for, like, did we not treat this like Netflix and the WBD thing? Like it trends down after they announce this thing, and then when they're out from under it, Netflix pops from 80 to $100, or actually went to like 108 actually. So pretty good. Maybe we get that with GameStop.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did get that. We did get this super chat from Big.
Okay.
We have another super chat.
Yeah, I mean, the
earnings.
TQQ is what it is. I mean, you're obviously talking about the Qs there tomorrow. We just went through some of those earnings plays. It didn't look like huge names.
There's nothing moving
on there
tomorrow. I would care more about, like, the semis are going to matter. You see the destruction that we had in the turnaround you had in things like SanDisk today and Micron. Like that's where we're sitting on those tomorrow. We're sitting on AMD tomorrow. We're sitting on ARM and NVIDIA. Like those are going to be the ones that stand out because it looks like a bit of a reversal top, like technically. But we've seen that before, and then the dip buyers, are right there in the morning. I don't know, but it'll be about the chips tomorrow.
That's too bad. We had that. We had that Tesla trade there, and we got out of it. But yeah, thanks guys for that one. As people talking about it right now. So here's the TQs. You want to ask a little bit about that? So you're holding this. So we haven't seen. This is the 200 period moving average right now. This is a 5-minute chart. There's been 1, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days coming back in here into May 4th, where we were underneath it for a minute. So right now, I think it's going to be interesting to see if we can close below this $70.50 mark. So if we can make a little bit more downside rate into here and kind of break a little bit of a trend, then I could see something here for the TQs, maybe a push back down in again for that play, and then we get back into 69.50 or so. If you're going to look at like sort of a daily chart for it, I mean, you've already gone, yeah, that's right. They split and have to go, because they have to get more options and everything like that, because again, it's a levered product. So you're right there on the daily chart, right at your 200 period. Now, I don't really use that because of it's the Qs. But if we're going to look at the Qs, let me just have a quick little see what the actual NASDAQ itself is doing. We already went through it. I just re-looked over it. There's really nothing on the earnings report tonight that will affect the NASDAQ wholeheartedly. It's still going to be an NVIDIA and Apple, Microsoft story there tomorrow as well. But if I'm looking at the NASDAQ, they had a brand new all-time high there this morning. And since then, we've really just been fading all afternoon. And we don't necessarily have any, dramatic news right now to create this kind of a push. Now, it's only down 0.3. Yesterday we were up 2%, things like that. So the market does have the capabilities to just continue to fly. But I would be leaning towards the short. It was we just talked about this with Steve, it was such an epic April that, maybe May's been a little euphoric to start with. I could see some pullbacks until NVIDIA earnings or until we do get like another little bit of a spike higher there. Here we go. Cheese of questionable origin. We do have a lot of talk about cheese on the show quite often. So Ryan promoting on eBay is like, I guess, is that SMCI or SCDI, hanging cheese dispensers for sale signs on the bathroom wall where the towel dispenser used to be. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. They're always trying to promote your own businesses and things like that. Is the cheese dispenser business not going that well anymore? I mean, I thought, I'm still in at founder pricing over here. So I'm hoping that, we can get in on this cheese dispenser business right there. But yeah,
fundraising?
Yeah, the cheese dispenser's doing another round of fundraising. No, just talking about Ryan Cohen there. Yeah, so, we can look at eBay real quick. Thanks for the super chat there. I was surprised to begin with, like how well eBay was doing anyways when that story came up. And then we do get that big spike through, talk of potentially having options on this and, some more insider stuff. We came in this morning and Brendan said, they're investigating that oil trade again. I was like, what oil trade? And it was the one that was made, a couple months ago when the Iran conflicts first started. And it's just kind of like, sometimes you wonder, you saw eBay going 1, 2, 3, 4, like some nice little upticks there. And then all of a sudden, Ryan Cohen announces what he does, goes up to 114 and then fades right back out again. But they did have
know
earnings.
What it is? I'm telling you, I've been convinced this for a while. So when they talked about the premium, and because I always do this when they announce like a potential offer. So they started accumulating their position after February 4th. They had to disclose that.
Who's they?
That's Cohen and GM.
Okay.
So anytime this happens with an acquirer, like by the time they announce they're doing it, they want to do a takeout. Of course, they've already been building a position in it. Now let's be real. Nobody accumulates 5% or 10% in a stock without some big shots. Like what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people know where this order flow is going, and there's always people in the know. And then you look back at it after the fact, and you mean to tell me nobody's taking advantage of that? On that, like eBay was just sort of randomly, like look at the stock before, right? This is the fourth. I'm going to assume this must have been earnings. Like look at the spike down on volume, doing nothing sideways, spike down on volume, and then all of a sudden it just catches a bid. It was looking like it would be a trend breakdown, lose a 50, lose a 200, and all of a sudden it's just catching a bid, and catching a bid, and catching a bid, and then looking incredibly strong. I get it, the market's been up. But every now and then, if you hear that there's a rumor and then you see a stock do a reversal like that, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
It's all saying. But you need those two things. Like, was the rumor even out there? I don't recall ever hearing any rumors about this. But I've heard people suggest that there were rumors about Cohen saying we're going to make some kind of an acquisition. And if you knew that, and you were looking around at names that seemed logical, and you saw that one of them was seemingly had a bid on it, there's worse ideas than taking a shot, right? Because it's tell me somebody didn't know. Of course somebody knew. Like you can't hide taking a 5 or 10% stake. People are aware of that when it's happening, and that's just part of the market, whether we like it or not.
Okay, so finally, some in my eye there. We'll take a quick, it might be very, very quick, man. This just came right into the 200 period again. Thought there was a chance. You do have your 50 period moving average for Tesla. I mean, cannot believe that we took ourselves out basically at the bottom there. Wow, 402.50. Not, looking back, could have done better on that one. Like, wow, now we're up $4, almost in a straight line right now for Tesla. Like, I don't know. This seems to be going off right now, and there goes the market right back there to the upside as well. So I'm only going to give this one to 407. I mean, we keep on taking like that 75, 50 cent hit or so on Tesla. So they're not huge, but you take two 75-cent hits and all of a sudden it's $1.50, right? So, yeah, not feeling that great about it. I thought it could stop there, and I wanted to give it to 407 anyway, so we'll just add a small piece here at 75s, give us a little bit of a better average price, but it looks like Tesla, and we did have some great, people were saying, wow, that was a great call at the bottom. Yeah, but we did step out of that one. So now we're going to have to wait to see if there is a little bit of a pullback here as the market, I guess, shrugging off those sirens and everything that the market heard. And just goes back to, no FOMO and not getting involved too much in some of these names. We were out of half only of our IBIT, and we did real good down there at the 200 period moving average. We still got to watch out for VWAP and a possible break there as the market seems to want to get back to the upside now. So we'll see if that continues to work out.
Too late for it's not too late for a reload.
No, it's still 338. I mean,
12 minutes.
Hoping that the market will give up a little bit here, but who knows? We just talked about the Qs for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so you never know what's going to happen on Friday. We did get a super chat about CoreWeave there. I don't,
I didn't see it.
it was just like, where's CoreWeave going to go after hours? Like, to try to figure that out, like, I'll give you an example yesterday with ARM, right? So yesterday ARM went to 270 after hours, right?
Well, it first went down and then up.
Yeah. We were live there. Yeah. So it went kind of up, down, and then whipped up there right into those levels. And then I stopped the clock at 5 o'clock here. 4:30. I don't think our data really goes too far past 4:30 anyways. So there it comes back in, and then all of a sudden, the conference call happens, and they start looking at a little bit of margins. And this is 7 o'clock this morning, but next thing you know, we're down to 220, and that sort of crystal ball that we're all hoping to have wouldn't have given you this trade or probably that trade. So this is part of the problem of predicting what's going to happen in the marketplace, right? And so all I can sort of tell you is that those, we already put it in the chat there, Adara's notes out with the implied moves. Try to do your best guess, basically, in where you think it's going to go. But for me on CoreWeave, I like the business. I don't think that, these hyperscalers are definitely not stop spending. So, CoreWeave does have an opportunity to continue to move to the upside. Recent investments with NVDA as well should create some sort of a floor for them. So we'll see. Nice bounce up there for CoreWeave, holding the 200 period moving average, just like ARM. I think it's a buy if we can get anywhere near. Like I asked Steve, and he was like, "Oh man, remember that was like it was so choppy down here and so on and so forth, similar to that ARM trade." And then the expansion, it hasn't been able to break 145. So any kind of a pull down for ARM, I think in about for CoreWeave in this $100 mark, I think would be a buy. So you'd only need about 20% off that. So we'll see. I know it's going to move.
It could do that. And then maybe catch that bid in the aftermarket. Right?
Yep.
We've seen that story before. Like it'll fall enough that you get the shot off that technical level in the aftermarket. Now, I wouldn't necessarily endorse people just sitting on the bid there, but you can do a heck of a lot worse. That seems a little bit extreme. I feel like if it went 10% to 11% down more than the expected move, that's a better bounce. I just realized we didn't do the early look, even though it's 341. But there's probably would have made note of it if there was more out there. Like Ford, 2 million, that's a kind of a nothing burger to the buy side. HPQ, 1.6 sell. KMI, 900,000 to the sell side. I mean, there's really nothing in here, which is not surprising. There's no expected index or crazy index actions tonight that we should be looking out for. Maybe we see some semis pop up. We have seen that in the past. But for now, there's one more. We didn't get to VWAP there on IBIT. So we're back close to the volume weighted average price. What if maybe like 83?
VWAP for you.
Yeah, maybe like 83s. We'll try to get back in here because we're holding it, pop back up. And it's still underneath VWAP doing the curl. So one last reload before the imbalances. Keep the stop at the same spot. We have Toby, I think, at least I just quickly saw with the super chat. So we'll throw it up and see if I'm right. Yeah, Toby. Is Palantir a good buy across the 140 today? No one ever includes time frame. You holding it forever? Sure. All right. Good. If you like a company and you're holding it forever and it's on any kind of a reasonable dip, there's never really a bad time to buy if your time frame is forever. Personally, I've been waiting for one thing to happen on Palantir. Like, I like trend lines, and if you're going to tell me that this has the most obvious trend line from the highs of all time, it holds that on the daily and breaks out the 150. I think I love that setup because you get a stock which has had momentum in the past, and you're just waiting until, like right now, it's not in favor. The IGV is not in favor. They're all relatively weak, and it's getting categorized there too. So you just wait for it to break that trend, and then that gives you something to work off of. And if it holds the trend for longer and keeps on going down, then it just means when it breaks the trend, you're getting a better price at that trend break. So that's what I've been waiting for here on Palantir. haven't really done much of anything with this. Actually, that's not true, because on earnings day, grabbed one long off 135 on earnings day, and that was about it. Didn't trade it yesterday. Putting in higher lows, that's pretty good here. So still holding that 135 zone. Look at that. It actually held exactly 135 here. That's pretty good. 135 to 140. So that still looks like a pretty solid level to work off of. But thanks for, appreciate the super chat. Remember, like, we're not here to give financial advice. We're here to talk about our trades, be engaged in the market, do some technical analysis, which is no problem. We can always look at just about anything. Every now and then, you might ask a question, and it's like, let's be real, I haven't looked at this stock. I have no idea who this company is. And then other times, hey, Palantir, there's something we have been looking at. There is something that I'm looking for, at least personally for myself. I haven't really done anything with it yet because, as I said, it hasn't broken the trend line, and that's the rule I'd need to see. And the other thing I should mention is, if I zoom in enough, you can see the teal line. It breaking the trend right now would be it retaking the 50-period moving average on the daily, and that's the SMA, so the 50-period SMA there as well. Y Diaz in the chat, is Lulu still a thing in Canada? I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, like, Shree's probably a really good person to ask for that. Like, I can't say whether I've seen more or less or have an idea how popular it is here. I'm a workout at home guy, so I'm not even in, like, I don't go to a public gym. I've always had, just rock my home gym. So I can't tell you. What I can tell you is, regardless of how it's doing or whether it's still a thing in Canada, the stock is not a thing for anybody right now. Right? Like, it's just, there's no bottom in sight. I suppose if you're trying to be real about it, you could go up and pull out like a really long time frame here, like go to like 3 months as far as you can and try to find something. I suppose there's a level at 115, but you know what? There's also a pretty important level at 78. And that would have required to drop 40%. So you know what? Lululemon 40% down from here, that is a monster level at $75 to $78. It's in a ridiculous downward trend. There's really nothing nice I can say about that stock, even if you like the company.
There, Lululemon. I still own a few shares of that. We talked about owning that a little bit. I'm probably wearing their socks or something today. I own a bit of it, so I like it. I think it's pretty comfortable. Lululemon. All right, so we'll have to take a little bit of profit on this one. We're trying to have a few bigger hands full of diamonds than we had with the last couple trades on Tesla there. We gave it almost ran 407, like it basically came right into there. So really lucky not to get stopped out right there. That is for sure. But with only 10, now it's only 4 minutes left before these imbalances. You got to try to clear some out. Now, I'm hoping that it can push into this I'm bidding 405.50. You know what? Just because of this, I'm going to go a little bit. I'm still going to stay there at 405.50, but if I can put something around 75s as well, we will take that. This is that break right there, 405.50, and then into 405. It's just like sitting here waiting for those imbalances to come out. If they rip the other way, then we are DOA on this trade. So hopefully we get a breakthrough 406. It doesn't really look like that wants to happen, but if it does, I think we can get something a little lower than that, as traders may sell if it does break through 406. Possibility there. I really don't know. I'm trying to get out of IBIT as well. I have some, basically pretty much the full load there at 37s if it does come in. So now we're just moments away from hopefully getting that fill on IBIT. And, if it happens, it happens. We'll take that fill for sure. And then, just debating, so we will make back something here for sure if it comes through on Tesla. It's just, I could punch out right now and take this 25 cents. That's kind of questionable if I do that, I feel like. So maybe let's just wait a little bit on that kind of a trade and see if it does maybe continue to work out for us down where we need to. So here it comes. Holding. All right, I'll put a bid out there. I'll buy some 96s. Hopefully this will come back in. We still have 80% basically. Okay, there it is. Oh, we missed it. We're bidding 76s, remember, there on Tesla. So a nice move down would be nice here for TSLA and give us that fill that we are looking at right now. Shout out to my friend Phil. And I don't know if he can help me here, but we need that. So 405.75, try to get that with only 2 minutes to go. Hey, maybe it's bank error in our favor, and this thing does tank on the number. But I'm going to take a little bit more out, not resting on the fact that we got to get lucky here with an imbalance number. But the market's already figuring out the imbalances right now, so I don't know. I'm not in love with this anymore.
Yeah, 90 seconds to go, everybody, until we get the imbalances, and then of course we'll take you into the earnings. I canceled that offer for the reload.
I took another fill there.
Already 350. So I'm break even stop on the last of this IBIT, and then we'll see if it comes out of sell imbalance, maybe that'll work for us. But still, with a minute to go, that's plenty of time. What am I talking about? We don't need to rush into these. We got time. There was a bit of a spike here in BE. Look, I'm not going to show you. There's not going to be many good-looking charts today that we can show you, but Bloom has been an absolute rocket. We're still looking at Lulu. That's the literal opposite of Bloom energy, but a healthy pullback for them. Like, there's so many stocks which are parabolic, which are giving you these like pullback vibes, and you got to look for sometimes continuation of trend. But this one is bouncing. I wonder if somebody knows something on this. I'm going to leave it. There's no imbalances to look at here. So this one just kind of popped up right before the imbalances. So maybe there will be something out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't see it on here. SMR, 400,000. Uber, 400,000. Those are all pretty small. INQ, 300,000. But on a lark, I'll have Bloom up just because it happened to make that spike. And then if I see a big buy imbalance, there might be something. More than likely, there's absolutely nothing going on for Bloom Energy. But just a few seconds, then we'll get the imbalances taking the last 10 minutes of the session before we get some pretty important earnings like CoreWeave. So Intel's a buy, 2 million. NVIDIA's a buy,
Tesla's
2 million.
a buy. They're all freaking buys.
Amazon's a buy, 800,000. Yeah, obviously this is a buy. I'm not even whatever IBIT's doing. Who cares? I'm just going to punch out of it. So mostly buys. SMCI is a sell for whatever that's worth. 700,000 shares. Snapchat, 700,000 shares sell. We got Walmart's a buy. Tesla's a buy, 700,000. Joby's in there, Lucid as well. But mostly buy imbalances. NVIDIA, likely the biggest one. And Intel, 2 million. Where's Intel going to close? Above 110. Hey, it held that level.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Intel, again, not the best day in the world, but you know what? Intel never broke the morning range lows. So no matter how bad you can call this move on Intel or pullback on Intel, didn't trade Intel today. Whatever. You don't have to trade it. It's just kind of realizing now that's a bit weird. We're looking at Intel. I guess once you miss the 110 long there, wasn't thinking long in the afternoon, I suppose. I guess that would be the reason. But no, that's a good hold. It means the uptrend is kind of weirdly intact on the stock. Not weirdly intact, but like a lot of things that are parabolic pulled back a heck of a lot further than Intel did, only down 2 points. So some relative strength, I would say, even though you're down 2%. Like, look at how some of these other names have fared today. How many 8% and 10% dip days do we have on these parabolic stocks? A little surprised it held up so well here on Intel.
Yeah, look, fighting the trend has never been a good thing, but it doesn't work out this time. Sometimes we've been sitting here and the market has gone our way, but as you look on here, everything is a buy in the space. So in the tech space anyways, buy all the way down. And then there was even Amazon's a bid there. There's Tesla with a bid. So maybe if this stays here and it becomes 355, these could flip around, but I am bidding a little bit here at 35s. There it is. Okay, now it's starting to come back in, so maybe we wind up getting it. There it is. Nice little move down there. We just got a 405.50. So Tesla is going to pair off. There it is. So I don't even, no, it's still there. So someone just sold down Tesla there. So I don't know what happened there. So we actually, that was kind of lucky right now as we go to the downside. I hear Adara with her little fun little thing there. So let's go over and see what Adara's got. She sounds excited.
I'm not excited, guys. I'm just like, oh my gosh, more news. To make it clear, the reason I specify that is because there's more explosions being heard in Iran. Apparently, these are due to air defenses being tested. But either way here, spike in USO, explosion sounds in Iran. Back to you.
So maybe that's helping out this trade here a little bit. Who knows? We might as well just get out of our Amazon. We were just kind of just chilling out here with Amazon all day. Just a very, very small piece. We'll push bid enter, see if we get out there at 46. Join that huge line up there on Amazon. You know what? We didn't get it. I'm just going to buy 54s. Oh, well, that goes out. There it is. We get it. So a little bit of an out there on Amazon. And just have a quick look. That's a good level for me on Amazon. This is one of the best levels we've been able to get. There's the short off VWAP. trying to do those trades more and more and more. Hopefully they make some sense to you. They make some sense to me. Now almost $1 in as, we realize that. But that was a good trade. And, we just sitting here because it's the 50-period moving average, we do get that spike down on some of that news that Adara was mentioning. So maybe now with only a couple minutes left, we will get a 405 fill. And then even lower if this market does turn itself around. With still 7 minutes left, still some opportunities to get this stock moving around. That is Tesla. What's up, Adara?
More news, guys, so be aware of the source here, because this is coming from Iran. But Iran is accusing the U.S. military of attacking an Iranian oil tanker. So that's another thing to keep an eye on here with oil. Again, Iran's military accusing U.S.'s military of attacking an Iranian oil tanker. Make of it what you will until we have more details, but back to you.
That makes sense. I mean, if this is what, I mean, someone's got to attack it, right? I mean, who else is going to do that?
Well,
Maybe Israel. I don't know who's involved.
There's only two options there. I was going to say, there's only two options. It's the U.S. if it did happen. But
who knows?
This is so much par for the course. Really, all that's ended up happening in USO today is we trended all day long into the high, and no matter how much worse it got, there was no takeout of the top. So we basically came right back in, just as almost like yesterday. All day trend, got to the top, and then held the top. So I guess I marked this off for a reason. 136 to 138. Neil, what was the reason? Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, look, it's actually a resistance zone here on USO. So I'd be a little worried if we punch through this resistance zone, like 136 to 130. If they take out the top of that, I think it'd get a little bit nasty for us here. But for now, it's like, okay, we're still holding the bottom end of the range, and we have that wipeout top that we can. I don't want to ignore it, but until we actually start filling that gap in, there's at least a bit of a ceiling here on oil futures. And when one of these stories is able to bust us through that, then we can worry about it.
But Tesla bid got bigger there. So I just realized like my stop order didn't even trigger there. I don't know. I tried to refresh my blotter. There's potential I'm out of this, but there it goes all the way up to 409 right now on Teslas. There's that order gets a little bit bigger, and there goes Tesla all the way up to 409 at VWAP right now. I'm going to try a little bit of a short here into that one. Again, we are like, this was an out, so we still do have 25%. We'll add a little bit back into it, but there goes Tesla. And I just want to show you that this is what can happen. Like, where's the imbalance here on Tesla? Right there. So the bid was only, now I can't even see it. If I click on it, it'll help. So right there, it was 700,000 or something, and then it did not. Like generally at 355, you could get it the other way around where it will flip over. And this one didn't do that. If anything, it looks like it might have grown just a little bit bigger there. So we might have to wait a couple more seconds to see what winds up happening with this resolve. But right now, Tesla, huge move up. I just think it can fall back down.
I heard you, bro.
Right there. 407 is where we should have triggered out. But again, we don't have a whole heck of a lot of shares here, so we'll just wait to see what winds up happening with Tesla. Hopefully it does wind up pulling back. I just feel very lucky that we were able to get that one filled on there. At imagine we just took a 405.50 not too long ago there on Tesla. So yeah, pretty lucky to get that fill. Now we'll wait to see what happens here right at the end of the day, as it looks like it is ripping back to the north side on Tesla. What a move. Congratulations anybody who was long over there. I mean, I can't believe this has just had an $8 move in the last hour for Tesla. So, man. Wow, big move. No, but even just in the last hour. Yeah, but that's the power of imbalances, that's for sure. There it goes upside now, 410 and change. Right now, that's like Brampton, go up to 410. Yeah. So right there.
You know what's interesting about all buying in the last 10 minutes is sometimes important to consider, because companies that do buybacks cannot buy back stock in the final 10 minutes of the market.
Yep.
So when
that's a good point.
It's like it's buying that you consider better. I'm already looking at, I have IREN up because that's one of the first one that came up there. I guess I could have put it back to Tesla, but ultimately when you see that, like that's the first thing I think about. Hey, somebody really likes it, and it can't just be Tesla buying Tesla. It's the same thing when we look at like Apple and you get those crazy bids at the end of the day, or sometimes lack thereof. But as we mentioned, it's all about the earnings in a couple of minutes. We'll probably flip over. It's only 2 minutes left. We'll flip over with like a minute to go or so, and send you to the desk. We're going to have CoreWeave. We're going to have IREN. Who am I already forgetting? Someone else that's Open Door.
Open Door, yep.
As you said before, like Eric Jackson, Hut 8 was so impressive, and yet Open Door is somehow still a thing. Although Hut
was a great
Hut ain't going to be down today because, quite frankly, everything was down today. But it was 30% at one point yesterday. Hut was up, and like everything else, it just kind of languished. It's the kind of market it's been. So about 90 seconds to go, everybody. We'll be sticking around, turning around. We got Brendo and Adair, as you can see, getting locked and loaded and ready. We are expecting some movers.
SOUN could be a good one.
I was going to say CoreWeave I thought would be the biggest in terms of interest for everybody. That would just be my guess. But I don't have any dogs in the fight tonight.
No, like I like CoreWeave. I'm not in CoreWeave. I think
I'm in anything.
I think there's a good possibility for CoreWeave to have a good number there as well. So yeah, there goes.
My brother owns Rocket Lab.
Okay.
I guess I care.
Where did Amazon wind up? 271 there to the downside for Amazon. Apple, 287, a little bit of a take there as well. And then the monster that just ripped up to the upside there, Tesla, just boom. I don't know. We tried to short it there again at VWAP, and then it just kept on going. But yeah, wow, there it goes. And again, just to show you guys, like Tesla, well, now it's probably not there anyways. But Tesla just ripped up there. Wow, it almost made it like its whole day's move right there in the last couple of minutes. So good outs, but at the end of the day, yeah, just kept on ripping there up to 411 and change. So bye-bye Tesla with now only 30 seconds to go. Yeah, we'll flip around. Brendan and Adair will take us in. So let's throw it over there and we'll get prepared because they come out right at 4 o'clock today. So thanks for now, but we're here till 4. I don't know when, but a couple earnings coming through, so get ready. Here we go.
Yeah, going to be an interesting one. Welcome in as we are less than a minute here away from what's going to be a red close. Less than a minute, less than 10 seconds ago here. As the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow all about to end the day in negative territory. That's okay. It's been an okay week and an okay month, I guess, if you want to say that. You keep your eye out for a few that are due out here at 4 o'clock, but I know there's a lot to get to here tonight. You want to just highlight some of them here?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the expected moves are a little bit more all over the place than yesterday, where yesterday, if you recall, pretty much all of the expected moves are greater than 10%. So this time we've got some that are kind of all over the place here. Smallest expected move that I'm seeing here is Gilead within 4, almost 5% expected move. TTD, the largest, supposed to be right at 4 here. I'm not seeing it yet. 15.5% expected move. So TTD, probably the first big one we're going to be watching here, Brendan. But IREN, one of your picks for the year, also coming out at 4. Along with Mercado Libre, Expedia, and Gilead at 405, you're going to get Rocket Lab, CoreWeave, Open Door, SoundHound, Red Cat, MP Materials, and Block at 410. You get Coinbase and Monster Energy at 415. You get NuScale, and you get Cloudflare, and you get DraftKings. And then at 430, you get Affirm, but Affirm often comes earlier. I'm going to keep an eye out for these earnings, Brendan. But again, TTD, IREN, apparently TTD's out, so I'm going to look for that.
Yeah, there it goes, downside. Yeah, downside in a big way here for the trade desk. Remember, this is the digital advertising space. I'll zoom out here a little bit so we can get a take on this. Down to $20 after going out just above 24. Not seeing anything yet on TTD, but it is definitely out here bouncing off 21 as we sit here right now. Just keeping an eye out for IREN. Doesn't look like IREN is out, or maybe they don't care, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so TTD marginal improvement here on a year-over-year basis for revenue, $689 million versus $616 million last year. Revenue growth only 12% year-over-year compared to 25% year-over-year growth last year, so much slower growth here. Net income declining on a year-over-year basis to $40 million. Net income margin, Brendan, a measly 6%. Lower than last year's 8%, and GAAP diluted earnings per share 8 cents, below last year's 10 cents. This is not a great look here. There's a lot of year-over-year declines for TTD. What were those numbers? But again, revenue growth year-over-year, pretty much everything else declined on a year-over-year basis. I was seeing Gilead is out, not a massive one here, but they did have a double beat. There was another one we were going to ask about, and that was IREN. I'll see if they are here. IREN Energy. IREN. I'm not even seeing those numbers yet. But again, guys, TTD looks like here. I don't actually know these compared to estimates, but it's going to be a miss for EPS now and a beat on sales. Again, sales growth year over year. Everything else did decline. I didn't even know Airbnb was coming out here, but there's
a nice pop here for Airbnb back above the highs. I only see a Q2 guide. So this
the numbers.
Okay, so the numbers did come out here, but Q2 guide, $3.5 billion. To 3.6 billion. Estimate was 3.4, so above. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, big pop here. Revenue 2.7 billion, beating estimates of 2.6 $6.2 billion. They did miss here in EPS, 26 cents versus 29 expected. Gross booking value, nice little beat here, 29.2 billion versus 27.8 billion expected. So mixed report here for Airbnb, but as Brendan mentioned, pretty decent guidance.
Yeah, about to go red here, guys, for Airbnb.
That just did what SoundHound did, which was a big time pop to the upside and then a complete reversal. Sound got to $10 now at $9.25. Airbnb as well. The Wick shimmy, 150 now down to 140. It just feels like this is the earnings season that we're in. Forget about the first move. You just cannot get caught with it. The only time the first move is good is when it's bad. And that's what the trade desk is right now. It just hit $20. So the bad news is trade desk is still the trade desk and things are still going poorly for them. The good news, if we're looking for a silver lining, is if you really zoom out to like a 3-month chart, which you really got to zoom out for this one, there's actually support from 2020 here. So you've got a post-COVID consolidation on the trade desk at 20. If it can't hold here, I don't know where it can hold. And it literally is breaking the 20 as we speak. So I don't know what's up with this stock. We've been getting so many questions about the trade desk and is it bottoming? Wake me up when it can hold the 50-period moving average on the daily. And you know what? You sleep less when you have a kid. If I have to wait till then I'm probably sleeping pretty well.
That is Course Air.
Okay.
$8 right here. Nice little RSR taking out as well on the daily.
Muted. You're muted.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad. Course Air is what I want to talk about there. $8, a nice little move there if you go over to the daily. It's unmuted now.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Hi, Ramin.
Hey, Ramin. Always great to have Ramin on there. It was just muted there as we set everything up. But no, Corsair, good numbers there. Revenue 354 versus 352. Net income higher as well. Gross profit higher. Operating income higher. So just an $8 take there for Corsair. Not trying to break through that 750 on the daily. So I like that name, Corsair. Went a little undercover. Hey, man, it was just 450 a couple months ago. Now up to $8. Got to like that one, Corsair.
Block has reported.
Oh, the market doesn't care, Brendan.
Yeah,
I said to Brendan, there's block earnings. He said, does anyone care? And I said, maybe, and the market doesn't care. And also, they're doing that fun thing where you have to press like 50 links to actually get to their numbers.
What did it do, though?
So there we go, only 2 links. And the page isn't found. So allegedly the numbers are out, but thank you very much to Jack Dorsey.
They were so good, the page broke.
Yeah, literally, I can't access them. Sorry, guys.
Expedia downside right now looks like on revenue is actually not that bad. 3.43 billion versus 3.35 billion. EPS $1.96 versus $1.96 versus $1.38.
What's the problem?
So a huge beat. Gross bookings 35.5 billion.
Who wants to buy travel?
And 34.7. Looks like a beat right across the board. But yeah, first initial price action, though, downside.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Oil prices just spiked at the end of the day there. There was talk of explosions, and we got a war going on. Then you got this, probably a nothing burger hantavirus thing. I'm sure it is. Well, I hope it is. But like, it's probably just a sentiment thing. Like, this is not a space which is going to be immune to issues right now. And I think that can provide opportunities. Like, if you think that we want to care about the fundamentals a little bit more, this is at the 50 and the 200. It's in a decent upward trend. But I can't say I'm surprised to see Expedia have a negative reaction to even positive numbers just because of the space.
No, I mean, yeah, I think it's the cost of everything that's going way up. I mean, it's just the price of oil and everything is creating people to get a little more nervous about their Expedia travel experiences. I've actually used Expedia. You just
traveled.
Yeah, no, everything was fine, but I don't know. I do know that prices obviously should be going to the upside. It's Expedia. The problem here is the revenue outlook slightly underneath what they were looking for Expedia. So a great quarter, but looking forward, not so good. Adair, you got a little bit of a look on your face there.
Yeah, because I was looking at Open Door's numbers.
Open Door, okay.
Sorry, Eric Jackson and Kazinjadian, if you're watching, but these numbers are not good. Revenue here, $720 million. That is a decline year over year from $1.153 billion for the prior year quarter. Gross profit declined year over year. Gross margin oddly improved year over year, 10% from 8.6% last year. Net loss widened year over year. Homes sold declined year over year. Homes purchased declined. Homes in inventory massively declined. Inventory at year-end period declined by more than half. Homes under contract to purchase actually did improve, so that's maybe good here. Either way, not a great look for Open Door. Their open house, as Kazinjadian likes to call it. We'll talk about Lyft and we'll talk about Rocket Lab before I send you back to the guys. Lyft here. Active rider growth, 17% year over year. Gross bookings up 19% year over year to $4.9 billion. Revenue up 14% year over year to $1.7 billion. Net income $14.2 million. Like 7x what it was last year. It's a massive
huge,
improvement here.
huge number.
Adjusted EBITDA here up 25% year over year. Hopefully, David Risher and co. did not have an extra zero slip into their margin guidance like they did that one time, and we should be all good there for LYFT. If you call that.
I like how they actually highlighted in this report rides were down slightly, 236.9 million versus 242. And they actually blamed winter storms for taking 3 million rides off of what would have been
so funny.
Their total. I'm not sure how they got to 3 million number, but it actually says winter storms shaved 3 million rides off of it.
So not as weird as Amazon blaming the Olympics for poor guidance, but companies like to blame weird things on other things. I have Rocket Lab too, which I guess I can get into quickly. But yeah, that's really funny with that winter storm, specifically 3 million rides. Record quarterly revenue here for Rocket Lab up 63.5% year over year to 200.3 million. Record GAAP gross margin 38.2%. Record backlog. I'm saying record a lot here, guys, for this report. Up 20% sequentially to 2.2 billion. Anytime they flag something sequentially, I always wonder how much it's up year over year. But either way here, record liquidity, apparently record new launches, and just record after record here for Rocket Lab. They're guiding Q2 2026 revenue between 225 and 240 million. GAAP gross margins guiding between 33% and 35%. Non-GAAP gross margin guiding between 38 and 40%.
I see red dots here for CoreWeave, although we are higher right now.
Up.
CoreWeave is higher. Adjusted operating income, though, 21 million versus 24.6 million. Adjusted net income, 589 million versus 446 million. Those are negatives. Negative 589 million versus negative 446 million. So everything else though was a beat. Revenue was a beat. Adjusted EBITDA a beat. Adjusted EBITDA margin 56%, topping estimates as well on a beat. Just those two sticking points. It's higher.
Well, this is a stock which, you know what? I know it's down. It's going to be down obviously on the day because of what happened to the overall market, but it's not a perfect report, and they're still managing to buy it, which is not what you would expect in this earnings cycle. So at least this is looking like it wants to hold on to the trend. Not everything is having that same fate today, obviously, but it looks pretty solid in terms of reaction here. Again, just because it's down 5 points, remember it was down significantly more than this. We'll want to see how they react to the call. The overall sentiment, of course, with the AI play tomorrow is going to be a bit of a thing, because the early move is never gospel. As I say that, you're already starting to come back to where we were when we started. I believe we have, is Coinbase?
I'm waiting.
That's out already?
Okay. Well, I don't.
Moving,
I saw a
that's
few
for
people.
sure.
I mean, it's moving. I just saw one of my charts, Coinbase starting to move to the downside. I don't see the numbers. My guess is maybe someone fat-fingered, or it's just the numbers are matriculating. But Coinbase shot up a little bit. Now we're heading back to the lows. It's now red. We're down at $188 here. Looks like maybe somebody on Coin.
I mean, I'm seeing, I'm seeing
good to go.
something on
You have it?
Coinbase.
Yes.
Yeah, she has it. Okay.
I pulled a Ryan Cohen. I just checked the website on Coinbase because I said if I can't find it and people are reacting, it's got to be on the website. So derivatives trading volume here up 169% year over year. I apologize because I'm still leafing through this. So let's just look at revenue for Coinbase and pray that they do this in a normal way. And it's really weird.
Yuck.
So apparently, derivatives trading volume, weirdly, what they're emphasizing here, that's up again. Apparently 169% year over year. Do you have revenue? Okay, here we go. Weirdly in the middle of the report, 1.4 billion in revenue. I believe that's below what we were expecting. Transaction revenue, 756 million. Subscriptions and services revenue, 584 million. These are both roughly in line with what we did last quarter, I believe. Net losses here, 394 million. They lost money, Brendan. Adjusted EBITDA, 303 million. Cash equivalents, 10.2 billion. So I guess Ryan Cohen was right. Sometimes you just got to check the website, because that was the only reason I found this report. And they're actually, they said they beat all their estimates, according to them on this little page. But I mean, take that how you will for COIN.
That's 20% down quarter over quarter.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's not, I mean,
the stock's not even moving.
it's not moving on
Yeah.
that. But I guess that's a good look. The reaction's not even that bad because it's actually trying to come back up here. But that's over 20% quarter over quarter declines on those revenues. So it's not what you would consider to be good. I would suppose you could juxtapose that with Bitcoin holding on to that 80,000 area today and catching a recent bid, right? So like
I thought Coinbase would be bad, but
I don't think the numbers were that good. But it's not really moving.
the
So
reaction.
Weren't.
I guess that's good.
Even XYZ here up 10%. Closes around $70, block. Now up to 78.50. Revenues missed, but EPS better, 85 versus 68. We like that one. GAAP EPS not making any money, minus 52 cents. The guide looks like it's what's kicking it out right now, as we just saw PayPal miss pretty decently there. We'll wait to see. PayPal, remember, was up and then they started speaking.
Yeah.
So we'll wait to see what that quarter brings for Block. But a nice little battle back there today. We were worried about Upstart on the fintech side of things. We were worried about PayPal. Looks like Block right here. A nice little move back up. And hey, taking out some key levels, man. This was a $50 stock back in March. You're looking at $78 today.
Lots of people still drinking energy drinks apparently here because Monster Energy was just a monster as well.
Yeah.
You have those? Yeah.
I have the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't drink Monster anymore. We're off that. But net sales here up 27% year over year to 2.35 billion. Operating income here up by 28.1%. They did have a double beat here, guys, for Monster Energy. Let me pull this up here, MNST, so I can get you guys the actual double beat numbers here. But yeah, EPS here, 58 cents versus 53 expected. Sales, 2.354 billion versus 2.159 billion expected. Nice double beat for Monsters. They're chugging those energy drinks here. And CELH this morning also, like massive 135% year-over-year revenue growth. So they like energy drinks, Brendan.
Even I was at the store across the street here today.
Nice.
It seems like there's more and more shelf space being taken up by energy drinks.
And so many more flavors and brands. And I'm like, I've never heard of
Like I was just trying to find a water, and I was like, can I just find a water?
Yeah.
Not allowed water anymore. No, it's crazy. The space is still doing quite well. I was just going through some of the details on Rocket Lab, and I mean, this is a great report. It's not doing a heck of a lot, but this is a great report. I mean, smaller loss, EPS beat. It was still a loss, but beat. Signed 31 new contracts. I mean, there's nothing in here that's negative at all.
I mean, the guide's better revenue, 235 versus 205. Margins, okay, it's gross margins, 39 versus 41. Could be creating something here for RKLB.
Seeing a lot of that. I mean,
costs of everything
are going up,
right?
Margins are getting squeezed a little bit. That doesn't seem like it's that bad. I think we should look at it the other way. It's anybody whose margins aren't getting a little bit of compression. We should give them an extra point, but I don't think you hold it too much against. We have a little bit of margin compression. By the way, MP Materials also out today. Already out this evening. They beat. The revenue beat is a good 17%, 90 versus 76, so pretty good for them. It's only getting back to where it was this morning because it was already down, but a nice little 4 or 5% bounce off of the lows here. EPS was basically a small beat there, but beat top and bottom for MP Materials, looking pretty solid. Nothing too crazy. I believe we also have a firm out, though.
Well, we just have also Net, Cloudflare out, and getting a lot lower right now. There goes Cloudflare. I don't have the numbers, but down into, you can see the chart here, down into 230. Close at Cloudflare around 260. They've had a huge move on the daily chart, so Cloudflare for right now up to 260, back into 230, giving it back. Adara has those.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch, guys. So we'll start here with DraftKings because they're up here for me currently. You've got monthly active unique payers declining by 4% year over year. Average revenue per monthly unique payer here up 21% year over year. Fiscal 26 guidance they're maintaining. Where is your revenue? Revenue here, 1.646 billion. That's up 17% year over year. Apparently primarily driven by efficient customer acquisition, even though, again, their customers were down. So I don't really get that. But let's take a look here at Cloudflare. As Sean mentioned, this is up 34% year over year for revenue. GAAP losses here for operations, 62 million. RPO year over year growth here, 34%. Let me see here. GAAP profit here. You've got a 71.2% gross margin. Yes, I kind of mixed here. They had some losses, some profits here. Let's talk about AFRM, though, as well here, because they did have a beat here, double beat, 30 cents per share versus 19 expected. Sales, 1.04 billion versus just under 1 billion expected. They raised their fiscal 26 guidance here to 4.175 billion to 4.2 billion. Second quarter in a row that they've raised guidance, and it's still above estimates. They also raised their Q4 sales guidance because they weirdly provided Q4 sales guidance last quarter. That's also above estimates. So good look here across the board for AFRM.
Interesting. We're right back into that kind of no man's land here. I mean, this chart looking more and more positive for AFRM.
You can hold.
This one's looking good. Yeah, it's on this number. You're breaking that 200 period on the daily. I'm liking this on AFRM, man. Over 30% year over year growth in revenue. You'll take that. I mean, the concern would be, okay, well, what happens if you know, there's always like the which way does it go if the economy contracts, right? Are more people using buy now, pay later, or is it more defaults? And which issue do you have to deal with? Ignore that. The technicals are saying this one actually looks good today. So despite all the problems that we're seeing, I mean, Cloudflare not looking good, Trade Desk, there are some nice kernels out here. 8%. This looks like a breakout potential follow through tomorrow. So going into the end of the week, watch out for those big optionable levels like the 75 zone for sure. But we finally have a good looking one after hours here.
No, I was going to say DraftKings actually not too bad either. We went over that a little bit there. The net income actually turns profit now, 21 million versus minus 34 million last year. So that's a good little take there on DraftKings. Also, their prediction market. Here we go, DraftKings prediction market, $100 million annualized revenue in the first 2 months live. So they're doing it right now. CEO Robin says they intend to establish a leadership position in sports predictions before year end. Look, I think that's so key because they can't accept bets. In California and Texas, there's a few different things as well. And the problem is that the United States government takes taxes on all these bets and all these winnings and so on and so forth. They don't do that on the prediction market. So I actually think DraftKings does have a few tailwinds there. Like all you need is the government to come out and say, you know, Kalshi, anybody that takes money out of Kalshi is taxed, so on and so forth. We're going to treat it like it's a gambling and we'll deal with it then. So we'll see what winds up happening with all that. DraftKings for now holding a bid at $25.
I'm rubbing my hands because if you go back to the August high and then put in the lower high at the beginning of the year and then where we are right now, you take out this top here at about $27, and that would be a monster trend break here for the last couple of quarters of DraftKings. So that's a good one. I'm glad we're seeing something other than a firm, but that's a good call out. I think these are two fun ones for tomorrow and going forward, and then hope and pray for the trade desk.
I was just hearing Coinbase downside again, but it looks like it's bouncing actually off 182. But KLAC, I'm not familiar with that. KLAC is what? KLA Corporation?
Yeah.
10-for-1 stock split. So this thing's $1,800, so it's going to be 180.
I see the price.
So for KLA, it's moving up on that, but I mean, not a lot of liquidity for KLAC. Anything more you wanted to hit?
No, I was going to say here, I don't know if we mentioned SMR here, revenue down massively year over year. Brendan, this is crazy, $600,000 in revenue this year. Last year, it was 13.4 million. And I don't really have words for that. But apparently they're saying prior year included license revenue that this year didn't, still massive year over year decline. Net loss here at 46.7 million. Yeah, guys, I mean, thank you so much for being here with us for a pretty exciting earnings evening. And definitely always remember to join us as well on X at TTV Research for all of these earnings reminders. And I'll have lots of infographics for you for these earnings names tomorrow.
This chart looks terrible, but we're right back to the bottom.
Which one?
Yeah.
There's nothing good to say.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't have $600,000 in revenue and be some sort of $1 billion company. So we'll just wait to see where they wind up going.
You know what the good news is, Sean?
I think
it's not like you can get much. Your revenue can't go down very much.
Well,
I mean, it can, because it can go to zero.
Yeah.
But it can't get that much worse. But you know, all you got to do is earn the.
People wanted $10, and right now it's $11.50.
Well, that's the thing. We got a question about could it see $10? The answer is very reasonable that you could be looking at $10 at some time in the near future on SMR. And if that's a level, fantastic.
A couple interesting trades to me tomorrow will be CoreWeave, as it's kind of hovering back and forth between positive and negative. So I think we'll see what winds up happening on the earnings call tomorrow for CoreWeave. I do like what we were talking about with DraftKings there, and then SMR, man. Well, let's play with a little bit of a lower price stock and see what winds up happening tomorrow with NuScale.
I agree on those, and then I'd add a firm because I like that their quarter looked good. And at least it's a bit of a breakout there as well for a firm. But yeah, those are the ones that stand out. Coinbase, I'm kind of like ho-hum on that one. I don't think it's downside over on Coinbase. I don't know how interesting that name's going to look to me. You felt like and someone mentioned in the chat, was a really good point. They already took the beating on the Robinhood earnings. So for them to be down again kind of sucks even more at this point.
All right.
I don't actually see IREN.
I don't see IREN either.
I never saw them.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You weren't even expecting Airbnb.
They were scheduled for 4 o'clock, so I will keep watching. But I have not seen any details on that. If they have come across anywhere else, somebody please let us know. Otherwise, I think that was basically the batch for tonight.
What a batch it was, Brett.
MCHP
I never heard of that one.
Microchip?
It's a microchip company, but it's up at least. So 110 coming into play. 1.31 billion versus 1.26 billion. Net income 116.4 million. Guided 1.4 to 1.47. So positive here for MCHP as well.
Yeah, I mean, another date name that was $60 in April. Now it's $101 today. Actually,
Great.
just got up to 109 right there as well. CoreWeave 128. So that should be a good one tomorrow.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up at that. I mean, there's not too much, unless you had some.
No, I was
Anything
just
else?
waving. I've been excited.
Yeah.
It's been a big night, Brendan.
Yeah, let's look out for IREN. Maybe they'll pull a SMCI and report at 450 or
451 on the dot.
and we'll get it tomorrow morning in
Yeah.
that case. I don't know what Fabian is doing with that.
Oh,
but
that's really true.
anyways,
I
he'll
was like, what are you looking
magically make the things around us disappear. But hope everyone had a fantastic trading day. It's Friday tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your Thursday evening. Come back, join us at 8 a.m., won't you?
Got some chess and hockey.
Have a good night.
See ya.
All the.
at? You guys.
Have a good night.